Okay, first thing I want to talk about is our market because it is not yet stable. Okay, it's still a little bumpy. I heard you guys over here saying it was flying off the market, right? And then I had somebody say, "Oh, it's sitting." So, and that's the truth. That's what we're still dealing with. So that statistic, that marketing report that Hart has, it tells you how many months of inventory. It's 12 months. So it's really not what you're dealing with right now. To go out and list that home. Who still needs the sign-in sheet? That way, okay. Or if you're taking a buyer out, we want to know, are we in a buyer's market or seller's market? Can we ask for the farm, or are we sitting where we're gonna, it is what it is, right? So for those of you that haven't gotten this formula from me before, please write it down. You see, and do it by zip code, because apparently having two different zip codes has two different numbers, right? You see how many active listings there are in that zip code. See how many we've closed in the last 30 days and divide the two numbers. So if I've got 100 active listings, I've closed 25 in the last 30 days. It's 25, 25, 25, and 25, and they're gone. So that's 4 months of inventory, right? 1 to 2 months is a seller's market. 3 to 4 is a balanced market. Greater than 5 is a buyer's market. El Dorado, right? El Dorado Boulevard. We all know where that is, right? Okay, from 45 to Highway 3 is a buyer's market. Last time I checked, about a month ago. From Highway 3 up to about 40 Pines, Diana, right in that area where Oak Brook ends and Oak Brook West starts. That's all in a balanced market. Everything above that has been in a seller's market for almost a year now. But if you ask the general public and any agent that doesn't take the time to really go to a class and stay educated, because there's a ton of them out there y'all gonna have to deal with, just so you know, they're gonna say it's a buyer's market. If you've got a listing and somebody gives you a lowball contract and asks you for the farm, they might think it's because they're in a buyer's market. You might have to educate them. Hey, this house, I get why you might do that, but this house is in a seller's market. We're not there, So it's important you know. Yes, ma'am. You see how many active listings there are in the zip code. Now, if there's one zip code in the city, obviously you could do the city, but I just recommend zip code. And then how many have closed in the last 30 days, and then you just divide them. How many are active, you divide it by how many have closed. So 100 by 25, that's 4 months. That means it's going to take 4 months to move that property, as long as it's the average property, right? And 1 to 2 is sellers, 3 to 4 is balanced, greater than 5 is buyers. 1 to 2 is the seller's market. Yes, ma'am. It's crazy.
So,
yes, sir.
100 active listings, 25 closed. So it'll be a buyer's market roughly.
That would be a balanced market.
Balanced,
Yeah, balanced market. That's 4 months. That's right. And we still have a lot of buyer's markets out there. There are less and less of those. Fortunately, I'm liking that. And there are quite a few sellers markets. Believe it, Friendswood's been in the sellers market 8 months at least. Last time, or right roughly about that time. So, you just need to know if they tell you they want Clear Creek schools, and we're talking about buyers today. Let's find out where the buyer pockets are, right? Let's see if we can take you someplace where I can get you the whole farm, right? Explain to them why. This is what I could get you here. If you want this, we're going to hear, but that's what we're looking at. So give them the option, but it's your job to know that, right? It's your job to get that so you can say, hey, this is where your money's going to go best, where we can ask for a ton, right? How many of you have you all taken the new contracts classes out there? Please get in it, guys. Please get in it. Please. I'm not even kidding you. Of all the ones we've had in the last month, the last year, this is the one you can't miss, because there's only one place for you to put your money to get paid. One spot in all the documents. There's only one spot on one document, and that's the only place. If you miss that, you aren't getting paid. And you need to understand it. And there's new documents out there too. There's another. Okay, and we're going to get into some, and I'm just trying to do a little housekeeping. We are presently writing a groundwater class, because that is a new disclosure that is effective July 1st that you have to, and it's an additional. It's not nothing. None of the other disclosures we have, I've had those questions. They don't cover this. This is a standalone. Got to have it. Got to do it. So it is confusing in a lot of things. So if you haven't had legal one, you don't even know what I'm talking about probably right now, because it's discussed a little bit in legal one, but we will have a full class on it probably within the next 3 weeks. We're writing it today and tomorrow. So we're going to fast track it to get it out to you guys, because I want you to get that one right. Okay, any questions about any of that before we get started? Look, that's, I knew I saw that. When is it, guys? If Lori's got it, get in the class. She came to mind. That was so funny when she walked in my class. I was like, what the hell are you doing here? I teach at your office. She goes, yeah, but I gotta learn the contracts. I'm like,
Exactly.
oh, okay, come on in then. You come in, it's all right, but it was just perplexing because I wasn't here. But I promise you, she has it down. So get with her and you will be able to be. Okay, buyer negotiations start from jump. I know there's a new form out there at the 1506. It's the one that says it's a non-representation form. I would hope that most of us can overcome that and be able to get them on at least for this house in this day on a buyer's rep form. If you struggle with that, still that conversation of getting them to get them on a buyer's rep form, let's talk about it maybe when we have a break, because I'm hoping we're a little bit past that. I know that form exists and it's primarily for speed of the market and you just want to go show the house, but it has so much liability that you can stumble on that I just think it's not the best use. So for me, if they call you and they say, hey, can you meet me at 123 Welsh? I'm sending the short form and I'm for this house and for this day, right? Absolutely, I sure can. I'll meet you there. Listen, I do have to have a form signed legally. Our rules have changed, so I'm going to send that to you on your phone. You can send it to them in electronic signing form, or you can bring a copy with you and have to go over it. I would use the short form in this instance because are we going to stand out there? I'm not going to stand out there in Texas Heat and go over the long form, right? Just the short form is sufficient. And tell them it's just for this house and this day. And then if we decide we want to work together further, then we can sit down, right? So it has a purpose, but that's really its purpose. You really want to do the long form because it's CYA everything for you, right? It talks about all those extra little monies and stuff like that. Guys, I see a few of you on your phones. It's a Trek rule. Not mine. Please don't shit me. I'll give you a break. I promise. But I don't want to get in time out. That's the one that I never know. I don't know everybody in class. And I'm not anybody else. They have shoppers or, spotters or whatever you call them, monitors. That's it. They come check classes to make sure we follow them. I really like teaching and, you guys want to come back. Okay. So what we got to determine at the very first meeting is what they want, what they need, and what we don't want, guys. Because if we don't find out the no's, we might be out there shopping and showing them stuff, and we didn't ask that no. And maybe every one of them has that fireplace or that crappy tile, and we didn't think to ask about that, right? And we're showing them with all this, and in their mind, they're looking, yeah, the house works, but I'm gonna have to replace that, right? So we need to know what are the no's too, right? So we can at least try not to make that happen. Who could tell me what a big close and a small close are? Nope. Okay, we got these. I'm putting coffee in all y'all's lunch drinks, just so you know. Some energy, something or other happening around here. I'm 65 and I got more energy than y'all. Okay, and there's a purpose for both of them, right? A big close, hold on, let's start with a small close. Small close. I've got John and Sue out and we're looking at 350 and I can't find it. You know what I mean? I just can't find it. And we bump them up to 375. We're still quite not there. And I know they've got more room. So that he agrees begrudgingly to go to 4 because you could see, they've seen some things and you knew that was almost all the things they wanted because you had a really good conversation up front. And one of those dream things for John was going to be an outdoor kitchen. And you looked up to 410 and there they were, 2 So you're out there and you're showing them that $400,000 house that really, it pretty much works. You could see, and now you've got to get in one more step further, right? I get it, guys. But I to be honest with you, my job is your realtor. That's why you hired me. If we can go 10,000 higher, and you already see John backing up on you. Come on now, we've already gone 50. I get it, John. Stay with me a minute, okay? Please just stay with me a minute. If we go up 10, I'm going to get you that $20,000 outdoor kitchen you were talking about. I promise you, there are 3 of them. And let's say we go the full boat, and we go to the one that's 410, right? It's $6 to $8 a month in your payment. So we're looking at $60 to $80 more a month. And then you're going to have that outdoor kitchen. You got to break it down, right? So I'm taking 10,000. I'm really taking the 50 and the 10, and I'm breaking it down into a monthly payment. It's 60 to 80 bucks is what we're really talking about here. We're not talking about 10,000. We're talking about 60 to $80. And yes, there are going to be some people that are going to say to you, that's almost $100 a month. That's a whole, that's out of my budget. Everybody does their business the way you want to do your business. Huh? I love you so much right now. And I've got to say that right. Don't play with me, John. Did I not see you at Esteban's last week? I know that bill was $80. So you telling me you can't cook outside on that dream kitchen and not go to Esteban's? Come on now. My job is to make it real for you. Let's just get real with these numbers, because I can get you that, or we can get you this one and you can spend $20,000 in a couple of years to put that in. What makes more sense, right? So I took a big number and I closed them on something small. So let's flip it the other way. Let's say we got those sellers. Believe it or not, I still even heard it yesterday. I want to just stab them in the heart that really are fighting paying buyer's agent compensation. Makes me want to just scream, right? But okay, Mr. Seller. So no, I don't want to. 2% is all I'm going to do. Well, I can appreciate that. And I'm going to give you a specific example of a house that I know someone was looking, and they were looking at about 10 homes, right? All 9 were paying 3% without question, provided it was a good offer, right? Just regular offer, blah, blah, blah. One had set her seller up and said, well, you're going to pay me 3%, and with the buyer, it's negotiable. It is it right? She's 100% right. It's 100% negotiable. Told him exactly that. The last word on the contract is 100% negotiable. She set her seller up to fail because all of his competition, it's going to cost this person on this $400,000, $4,000 more to close out of pocket, not financed in, out of pocket to close your house. Then it's going to be this other one. So what have you done to your buyer's market? There's a whole lot of buyers out here, well qualified, can get to the table quick. We're not sitting on the market 30 days. We can get there, but we're not going to have that opportunity because they don't have $4,000 extra to pay their agent, because their agent's going to be asking. Yes, you have to tell them it's negotiable, but yes, you've got to explain what the market is doing. That's your job. I'm a market expert. This is what the market is doing. This is what's performing. Your choice, but I've got to explain to you what you're doing. And if you think body language don't count, you all feel when I came in like this, every one of you felt me close in on you a little bit. Use your hands. Show them what it's going to do. And start big. We've got a lot of buyers out there. This is what we get to, right? So are we really going to do that? So what I've done then is take that 3% that was a small number to him and blown it up. It's if you're not going to pay it all, it's 12, but if you're not going to pay one, that's 4,000 more, right? And sorry, the time is coming here. So you have to sometimes make them understand. I'm giving you these theories so I can show you when we get further in the class where I'm going to pull those back in to close the deals with the buyers. Okay, so how many of you had my disc profiling class, or have ever had a disc profile? You have, Lori. Yes, you have. You've got to know what your people are. You're negotiating. You have to know what their style of communication is. Since 444 BC, there have only been 4 styles of communication: dominant, influencer, supportive, and cautious. I'm a high DI. With me, if you come to me with an inspection report and say, it's $249 for the AC, $329 for the plumbing, by the time you get to the third thing, I am ready to snatch your ball head and look at the bottom number. Get it here, right? But let's flip that. If I've got an S or a C, that C, that's a layered data person. They need the spreadsheet. So if I say to you it's $2,500 for those repairs, you've disrespected that individual, because they need to see the numbers. They need to see the break. You're spending my money. He might be fine with $2,500, but show me how you're spending my money. I don't give a shit. Just tell me the number. I want to write you a check. I'm over it. But you've got to know who they are, right? So here's a quick, easy way to figure it out. Ask them how their weekend was. That's an easy sentence to get in a conversation. Am I right? How's your weekend? A D, they're going to answer quick. It's great. Suck. If you answer the question, let's move on, because they're unemotional and action-oriented. Let's move it. Right? And I is going to verbal vomit all over you. Oh, we had a party. We had grandma, blah, 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 blah. Okay, lady, I'm sorry I asked, right? But she's going to tell you everything. She's excited. but she's also action oriented, very emotional though. See all that emotion? Your C's are gonna be, oh, I was at church and helped with the bazaar. I helped my mom get her medicine for the week. I helped my brother pack because he's moving. You know, I'll feel all that emotion, all that helping. That's your support staff. That's typically your people entitled, right? All your support staff. They just want to help. They want to help you grow. They want to support you. But they really kind of take a little bit of a back seat. Like they're not really as aggressive. And your C people, that's your engineers. That's your layered spreadsheet people. They need to see it. They need dot the I's, cross the T's. So when they make a decision, they have checked all the facts and they're comfortable that they know what they're talking about at that point. But they're not going to make a quick decision. So if you're out and you know you've got 2 or 3 other competition contracts and we kind of decide tonight, and you have to be dealing with an S and a C, we in a spot. Because they're not likely to be able to do that very well, right? So you're going to have to give them the opportunity to do so. You're going to have to back away. Say, listen, I know this is tough, but we also know if we want this one, we got to decide tonight, right? So how about if I just go outside for a little bit, give you guys 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes to talk, and then you know, I'll address any questions you might have. You got to have to give them the space and then a call to action. It can't be, I'm going to get back to you tomorrow and let me know what you think. That's not going to work in those deals. But you've got to know who you're dealing with. And the same thing goes for the agent that you're dealing with on the other side. Because that's your primary negotiating person, right? I have to know the way she wants to hear things, the way he wants to hear things, so I can deliver to you the way you want to hear it, so I can get it the way I want it to be. And I hate to say that, it sounds manipulative, but your job is to do the best thing you can for that, whoever you're representing. And the best you can do is learn who everybody is in the transaction so that you communicate with them properly and get what you need done, right? If I was that high C and you gave to me with that 2,500, I'm going to get through the transaction with you, but you are not probably going to get a referral or a repeat business from me. You could lose them in that one conversation and not even realize it because you think you're just helping. But if you don't know who they are, they're like, man, she disrespected me. I'm not going to refer her out. She got me, yeah, we got the house, we got it, but I felt not heard, not seen. I wasn't, that my opinion wasn't valued. It was just her driving the deal. And I say her, guys, sorry, because I'm talking to me, right? I was a pushy realtor. I'm not even gonna lie about that. I'm on the edge trying to get the most I can for whoever I represented. I didn't make a lot of friends. I don't have enemies or anything like that. That's not what I mean. But if you were to deal with me, I mean, I was coming for whatever thing I could get, right? Because that's what we're supposed to do. So that's why I told you in the beginning, find out if you're in a buyer's market. I don't want one of you in here to feel bad asking for the damn farm, because that other agent on the other end is going to make you feel bad, right? Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. Why are you asking for that? Back in Silver Plate real estate 4 or 5 years ago, when sellers were getting $20,000 and $30,000 above appraised value, 2 and 3 in backup, do you think they said, oh, no, we're not going to do that to buyers? We don't want to take their money. They didn't do that. They did, because this is a cyclical market. This is what it is. We are not static. So when we're in the cycle, that's where you are. So if you're in the cycle of in an area where we're asking for the farm, you should have educated your seller when you listed the property. Don't shoot me. I'm doing my job. So don't feel bad. I've heard several people in class go, oh gosh, but I hate, why do you hate it? Well, I wouldn't want that to happen to me. Who are you representing right now?
Which they say is no.
Good God, you and I, we friends. All right, I can tell you we are friends. That was my saying forever in life. It's a no if you don't ask. I'll ask for anything. You could tell me no. And when I tend to ask for a bunch of stuff on an inspection, from inspection on an amendment, I absolutely load things in there I don't give a shit about. So I can give those things, I can negotiate. Oh yeah, okay, you can not do those. I want these. I know you have to learn how to structure your deals so that you get the buyer the key things. Give some other, because they're not going to come back to you, oh, we can do everything, sure, no problem. That rarely happens. So leave some things in there that you're okay kicking to the curb, right? Okay, so now we know who the people are, right? We figured out what kind of person they are, and we're sitting down. Every one of you should have some type of questionnaire that you, when you sit down with, and do you all sit down? I should have asked that. You have that 30, 40 minute, meeting at some point initially on to find out what's going on where they are, right? No, it's, come on, y'all.
I'm so new.
Okay, she just nodded at me the whole, okay, well, you real new, thank you. How long have you been in the business?
I've had my license for 2 years, and I was inactive for the first year.
Okay.
I don't know. And so I just renewed.
Okay.
And I've been just doing
She's an S&C.
TC work.
She's what?
She's an S&C.
Ah, she's an ecstasy, gotcha, okay, gotcha, okay. Well, I mean, it's important to go over that the long doc, you've got to do that at some point, right? But when you're there doing that full, long buyer's rep agreement, have that questionnaire, ask them everything. I think in your handout, an example of my old one, it might be in there. But what I want you to do is ask everything you can. What do you want? What do you see? What is your dream? What do you not want? And I promise you, when you ask the dream questions, because the dream item, in the example I gave you earlier, might close the deal, right? Oh, but I can get you this. If we could, what is it in this area? Typically, it's going to be, a pool or a backyard this, outdoor living is the big thing, right? Or fresh paint, fully remodeled, whatever the thing is, find the dreams, right? But you don't put them, let's see how the conversation goes. Tell me what you're looking for. What do you guys want? What are your needs, right? Okay, we're going to 3 bedrooms area. How soon? That kind of thing. If I could get you some dream items, I'm not promising that, but I'm just, because as I'm searching, what would some of those dream things be for you? Tell me just a few of those, so maybe I can make that happen. So at least I've got some hot buttons, and it might close the deals. A girl like I told you, I
Sure.
yeah, I'm good. I can still do cartwheels at 65. I was at my daughter's house in Vegas not too long ago. I'm like, you think I could still do this? Because she has AstroTurf. It's flat. I don't have to worry about no bumps and rocks, and right. And I did it. I was like, oh, yes.
And now I need a,
Pardon me?
and now I need
No,
You can move once.
I didn't actually twice, and I did a round off, just so we're clear. And then I got home and got on Facebook and messaged all my old cheering squad and said, okay, how many 65-year-old women could still do a cartwheel? Most of them laughed at me. Some of them said they tried with cocktails, and 2 of them said, I never even had a reason to try. I said, well, then I win. I got it. But okay, so the questions we ask them are not, they're probing questions. They can't be questions that they could say, we're like, how, does that area work for you? Yes. No, I don't want that. Tell me about the area you're looking for, right? So that I need you to expand. I don't want to just yes, no, blah, blah, blah. And it's oftentimes you're going to get Chatty Cathy and the one that won't speak. Am I right? You see those 2 all the time, right? She will breathe. I swear to God, she'll breathe. As soon as she does, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And then your body language changes to the other person. So the conversation just ended politely, right? But now we're engaged here while she's breathing. John, tell me your thoughts on that. How do you see that? Get John talking. Once John starts talking, now he's got a comfort level with you. You may hear more than you want to hear, but because now he can talk to you. But at the end of the day, if you walk away with just getting information from one of them, you got to have a story. We've got to hear from both parties. What are we talking about here, right? And then before that first meeting ends, ask them what their greatest fear is. What is your greatest fear with transaction? It might be we don't close on time. I might not have enough money. It might have too many repairs. Can't find it in the right school district. Blah, 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 blah. Find out what it is. Because if you don't know that fear, you might be stepping all over it every time. And you might have to say, hey, thank you for sharing that with me. I'm going to do my every best to be able to not let that happen. But if I see that's something we're up against, at least you shared that with me, and I can tell you, this might be something we're looking at, so we can figure out how to deal with that before it does happen to us. That makes sense? Okay, so now the fun part, searching. Who likes to shop? I love to shop. I'm a woman. Man, you cannot take calls during class. I'm sorry. Not allowed. I'll give you a break to take calls, but you may not leave to take calls.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So we're gonna go out and we're gonna go look. We figured out what they want based on that. And how many houses do we show the first time?
3 and 4.
6 is my max.
5 mine.
Yeah, right. Because it's for me, I'm confused, and I do this right. which one was that? Did they have the countertop? Wait a minute, which one had the door that banged, you know? So 4 is a good number. It's a really good, solid number. I've had people come and they want to go all day long. They just want to shop and they want to see 8, 10, 12. Not going to happen. If they're at a reload, the only way it's going to happen is if we're going to do these in the morning, we're breaking for lunch. We're going to narrow down what we like, right? We're going to sort through these 4 at lunch. So now we know, here's the one we're comparing to when we're on the backside of the day, right? So that would be, because sometimes reloads only have a little bit of time when they're here. So you have to accommodate, but that's the only way to do it. You can't just run that straight. You will lose your mind and so will they. So how do we show a home on the first go round? So you get to the house, what do we do?
Like the height is terrible.
Okay, well, he's different. But I would expect no less in this office, am I right?
I try to get them before they do, make sure all the lights and everything is open, the curtains are open, stuff like that. I have the MLS printout, any important documents
Perfect.
that's there, and then I tell them, you know, hey, this is the house, blah blah blah. If there's a kitchen that they liked, I say, hey, come check out this kitchen. This is what you were looking for. Then I let them explore it.
Wonderful. Okay, that's good. You meet him at the door?
No, I usually have them come in.
Okay, and everybody does everything the way they want to do. For me, let me just give you a flip side of that. For me, as a buyer's agent, on the first run only, I'm going to open the door and get out of the way and tell them, I'm going to go turn the lights on. I'm going to set everything up, but I want to watch where they go because that's going to tell me a tale. If they go straight to the kitchen, where some importance is, right? They go straight to the back. If they go to different places, that's also going to tell me something. Where they go is what I know are hot buttons that they maybe didn't talk to me about, right? Make your notes. Walk behind them. When you see John look at the kitchen and go, ooh, you know, we don't like that. They look at the backyard, right? Body language is going to speak a lot. Between home 1 and home 2, please, I'm old school. I had a notebook. Y'all have phones now. You can talk to your phone. And don't wait till the end of the day. You're going to forget it. You're going to say it. She laughed because she know, right? So you say it into that phone. John didn't like the kitchen, bad reaction. Loved the backyard. Spoke about, you know, whatever it is that they spoke about, right? And then go through that. Right? At the end of the day, now we're going to thank you so much. We haven't found the one we wanted. I'm assuming we're not on this run, right? I've got some good information. Let me go back. When are you guys free again? So now we're going back the second time. Now, I'm leading the way this time. You already know what's important to them. John, I know you thought that last kitchen was horrible, and I'm so sorry it didn't meet your needs. Tell me about this one. Does this work? I said, how'd you know that? You didn't say, I didn't say that to you. Well, no, I could tell. That's my job. I'm reading the body, right? How about this backyard? Is this suitable? I know you love the other one, but it's similar. Does this work? As many things as you can point out on the body language that you read, checking some boxes and trust and value right here. Because you know what they want without them speaking it. Absolutely, right? But if you, on my second run is when I generally do what he's doing. I'm not saying the way you do it on the front is not, that's a great way too. That's because you've got a good conversation. You know what I mean? And he knows they want this in the kitchen, so he's pointing it out. But on that second run, I'm definitely going to show the things that we know that we found that we really like and we don't, so we can compare them, right? Feature benefit, know the homes ahead of time, check out that wine fridge, it's an XYZ, blah, 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 know what that's a saltwater pool, make sure you know it. If the chlorine pool, it makes a difference to some people. Have the information, so you have it in here, you could talk about it. So once we get through, let's say we saw 8, and we're going to talk with them about it, we've decided, okay, this is the one, yep, this is the one. We're good with this. This is the offer we're going to make. And now we're going to go to contract. What's the first thing you do as a buyer's agent when you get ready to go to contract? Pardon? That's one very good thing to do. Yes, that's one. I'm up with that. Yep. Full comps. She said full comps. What's something else? There we go. Podcast the listing agent. That's it right there. Because there might be something specific. This is your opportunity to negotiate maybe a little bit up front and say, hey, I'm getting ready to write you an offer on your 123 Wells Street. Any specifics I need to know, right? This is where they might say, oh, you got to use this title company if you want us to pay it or whatever that is. Or, you know, my seller really needs to close quick. Great. I've got a fabulous lender. His name's Seth Saldivar. He'll talk to you on the phone. He'll keep you updated and he can get it closed in 3 weeks. But my buyer's going to need $5,000. So if you have the authority, obviously from your clients, you have to have that to be able to do that at that juncture. But it might save you a little time because we've got a lot of blank lines in the contract. Am I right? We've got to negotiate all of them. If we can negotiate a few of them in that first conversation, we get on a kind of an even keel where we're giving here a little bit. That's a good start to get yourself going somewhere, right? With that person. But the first thing is, how was your weekend? I know who you are, unless I know you, right? And sometimes you can just tell from the way they talk. They're very direct, they're very quick. That's a D. Over emotional, talking all over the place. That's an I. You know, S person's going to want to know, you know, how are we going to get there? Are you sure? They're the ones that you're going to have to absolutely dot your I's, cross your T's, show them that your lender is the same. Everything is good. They're going to want to see it. So at least we know a little bit that we can negotiate up front. So when we sit down at that contract, we can say to that buyer, okay, I've talked to the agent. This is the things that they said that are important to them. And it doesn't mean you're going to give them, right? We might know damn good and well we cannot close for 45 days. That just might be it. But at least we know up front that's going to be something we're going to have to negotiate. So we might not ask for the farm someplace else because this is where we got to put our weight now, right? So the more information, knowledge is power in anything you do. You want to know, help them put the contract together so that the things that are those critical things they told you up front that are absolute have-tos and the fears that they have are not. Those fears will not be incorporated in there, and you're checking the boxes for the things they want, right? You control the narrative with the other agent by trying to meet them halfway. Our contracts are changing, but I was a big fan of them putting in their compensation in the wrong place. Because I could say to them, hey, listen, you put it on here. I need you to put it on here. Blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to work with you right here. So I'm giving first. I love to be the first one to give. I'm on the good foot now because now I can ask, right? Now I got to get what I gave to you, something easy up front. It's real easy for me to say, okay, well, thank you, but here's what I really need, right? Okay, this is a dance, people. Win-win. You've got to get win-win in your mind. When it's a win-win for both parties, a win-win does not always mean the price. It could be the timing, right? It could be you're not asking for a ton of repairs, right? There's a law which is not contingent, we don't have it as contingent upon the sale of another home. There's a lot of factors that could be critical. Not always just those numbers up front. So that's why we have those questions. Break it down from the fire. What is the most critical? So we can make sure that when we put this contract together, we are getting your big things and we're still leaving some room to negotiate. Now, obviously, if it's in a buyer's market, because you check that up front, how much do we ask for in a conventional loan? The concessions. 3%? Unless, there you go. Then you can then change it. You can do that, right? What about for VA? 4% for VA. What about FHA? Very good. Excellent. In addition to those concessions, yes, concessions. Gotcha. That's okay. In addition to concessions, let's say we're in that transaction and we've already asked for the 6%, right? Now we're maxed it out. Please be sure you can burn it up. Make sure you talk to that lender and you can use that full 6%. Otherwise, goes back and sell it. So what if we have extra money on the table? What are some things we can do to burn up that extra money? Buy the rate down? What was that? Lord Jesus. To help the buyer, There we go. That's what extended home warranty. That's exactly right. 2-year home warranty, buy the rate down. There's things that we could use to burn up that money. So don't let it go back to the seller. If we got extra, get what you can and you'll figure out what to do with it. But in addition to that, let's say we got the whole 6% and this house was just really in a spot and it needed some work. We can still get more from the seller because we can have them pay an invoice at closing. So let's say we're asking for the 6%, but we know damn good and well this house needs to be painted, and that's $8,000. Well, it's got to be refloored, that's $5,000. So we can say, hey, we need this to close the loan, but I need you to pay a contractor $8,000, an invoice for contractor closing, $8,000 can come out of the equity. I know you can't do it up front, but I need to pay it. So we can ask for those things too. So the seller, what I'm trying to get at, seller can give above what those numbers are that we just covered, but it's the way you structure it, right? It has to come in an invoice that they pay at closing. That makes sense to everybody? Are you guys alive?
Is that an,
There we go again. Now I got some action. Okay, hold on.
is that an amendment that you would have to invoice for the flooring?
If you, yeah, you'd have to amend your contract and you just say,
That
well, I'm
just
gonna have the
goes on.
seller pay this invoice for doing the flooring and then be paid at closing. So invoice will go to title. It'll be on the seller's side of the closing statement and they'll pay that invoice. Then once they're paid, they'll come out after closing and do the work. You can do that with a handyman. Let's say there's just a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna get right to you, sweetheart. Handyman inspection, when somebody didn't want to fix it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm trying to get a little ahead of myself in my damn here, so I'll check that box when we get there. But basically you could say, hey, it's gonna cost about $500 to have this guy do it. Pay the handyman at closing. We'll have him go out and the buyer can take care of it after closing, right? Yes, ma'am, what's your question?
You already explained.
Oh, I did, okay. Okay, good, I'm glad. That's great. Right here. Oh, win-win, yes, always a win-win. So tell me some things that can go with your contract that would help it seem really solid or would help be beneficial to send.
As a buyer agent to the
Mhm,
seller?
mhm.
Well, the contingency, if it's on the market, if you're on a contract, or if you're any of the steps into it.
You're saying in addition to the contract?
Yeah, what can I send with it to say, just help you look at, receive it very solidly. A contingency, I've got a contingency, I'm gonna send all the docs to show you, this is solid, I'm on the market, this is where I am. Pardon me?
Option period?
Well, option period, but I'm thinking about more in the, what can I
Proof
say,
of
like,
funds,
there we go, that's where I'm talking about, lender letter, strong lender letter, right? Proof of funds, show we've got that. Something maybe we could say to them that, we're gonna need concessions, but we've got a solid file. Here's the lender letter. Yep, we do need this, but here, and make sure you got a lender that's gonna get on the phone with her. Keep them updated too. You want that to happen. Maybe you can tell them we're not gonna be really concerned about minor things on a report. If it's major, yep. But if we could tell them, hey, if it's just minor stuff, my guy's handy. We're not worried about that. That's gonna give them a little bit of comfort level, right? Now, don't do that and then come back at them at the inspection, nickel and dime them. That's shitty. They're gonna walk out on you. That's crazy. Don't do that. I mean, be real. Tell them you could close quickly, or you got a flexible move date, because that seller might have. My daughter's doing a transaction right now. I want her to close. Well, Seth could close it June 26th. I was hoping for July 2nd, but they aren't going to give her till the 16th because they've been there 30 years. It's going to take a minute to get all that crap out the house, right? So you have to be both sides. It's not always about let's do it quickly. Right. We asked for 10. We gave her 7. But I was asking for all this. The laundry list of repairs we gave her was like this. But I knew there were about 10 things in there that I'd be all right if she didn't say okay to. But I ended up getting about $12,000 in repair. And gave up about $2,000 and $12,000 in concessions. So got still. I was pretty proud of that. I was like, hey, look at me, I still got this. Yes, ma'am.
I think now they don't recommend that you use buyer's letters anymore.
You mean a story?
A love letter.
Love letter?
oh, no.
You know what?
I won my house.
I use a love letter. I would use a love letter all day long if I think that's going to help. Yeah, absolutely. And in this case, one of the reasons I think that they lean towards my daughter was because she's planning to be there for a long, long time. and raised her daughter there. He was there, the seller was there when she looked at it. He didn't know to be gone, whatever. Wait, I could have cared less. I was fine. I could ask him more questions if the agent wasn't there. And I did. But I like them.
I had a multiple offer. I came down 30,000 less than what the other offer was. We both had contingencies, but I went with offer pad to get mine. So I had a definitive close for that. So I made my offer stronger. I put a letter in there saying that the house is closer to our church. We're building it to make it for my in-laws to be able to live here, blah, blah, blah. Exactly what that family was moving to do themselves.
So they understood.
So they understood, and that's why they went with mine.
Absolutely. I used to love, it may not work
I
sometimes.
guess
If it
somewhere I
works
read
one,
like
oh, there's no rule that
uh,
says you can't. There's no
yeah.
rule anywhere.
Like,
Just-
Unless you broke, you says you can't.
the fair housing.
No, girl, don't listen to all that thing.
Oh.
Just
No,
like, could be used
has nothing to
as-
do with their house.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
What?
Don't put anything that they could use as like,
Liability or leverage against you. Yes, be very
that
clear.
and,
Yeah.
No picture.
there we go. That's the word I was looking for. Discriminatory stuff in
Right,
there.
yeah, absolutely.
You know, just put, hey, my family instead of, you know.
I've used one, I've used it in the past. I had a client, she
Here's my opinion as a buyer's agent. I'm gonna do whatever might work. And if it works, great. It's not gonna offend anybody at the end of the day. It may, the agent may go, she's being shitty. I don't care about you. She's gonna give it to the seller. And here's another thing. Please remember this. If you're dealing with an agent that you feel like is not presenting to the seller what you want presented, there's a document in HAR called Evidence of Presentation of an Earnest Money Contract. Make it the first damn page. Okay, the seller has to sign it. They can't just say we don't accept. The seller must sign saying they saw that whole offer. Right? So when you're asking for 3% and she's telling you the seller's paid you 2% and they're not going to pay any more than that, and you put 3% on there and you think she's going to fight you, put that up there. Does it come across as you're being pushy? Know that up front that it does. But sometimes this is about protecting whoever's hat you're wearing at the moment, right? Some of the ways that you can improve your relationships with other realtors are things just like this. Classes, networking events, going out to be with your peers, be in places where they are, get in groups in Facebook so they know you, interact with people. Because those of you, probably most of you are South Side, you all know Monica Foster. What?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought there was some other. What the hell, y'all in a hole? Shoot. That lady come from Dallas in 2008 with 0 people that she knew here. Not one soul. And within 3 years, she was ranked internationally. Now she's just stupid ridiculous. She's just phenomenal, and I adore her. She's challenged to work with. But had I not known her, because she can be a challenge, I mean, she will speak her piece with you. She and I did a deal together, and my client, she calls me up. I just dropped off the earnest money. I'm literally pulling up to my office. She said, "Cindy, what in the world are you doing?" I'm like, "What I do? I dropped off the earnest money." She said, "Your client's son is sitting in a swing at my seller's house, skipping school with his girlfriend, making out by the pool, telling my seller that his parents signed the contract and they own the house." Yeah. Okay. Had she not known me, would she have thought I was one of those agents that says, "Oh yeah, you could go over there"? Because if you haven't dealt with that, it's out there because it's coming too. Because they do it. "Oh yeah, you could just, well, don't go in the back door. You could drive by and then you have no control." Trust me. Trust me. So I was like, "Girl, you're kidding me," you know? So it was nothing. But because she knew me, had she not known me, that could have gone a different way. And this is the very beginning of our negotiating. Am I right? That's a problem. They still live in the house today. And she and I talked about that about 6 months ago. I said, "Do you remember?" She said, "No, I don't even remember it." And you know why she doesn't remember it? Took the high road, right? No, it was just a ripple, it was no big deal. I remembered it because she took the high road, right? And she didn't hammer me with that. Now, Norman Frank might have ate my lunch one time because I messed up, and he was right as rain to do so. I knew that he was right. But the point is, but when he realized it was me that he had called my broker to fuss about, he goes, oh, damn, if I knew that was you, I wouldn't have called. I had 14 family members with me showing this house. And they were making, trying to watch and kids and people, and, all of them were out in the backyard or whatever. And I kind of had to sit down around that chair for a minute. Left freaking key right there on the chair. Didn't block the house back up. Right? I was like, but when he realized I called him up, Norman, he goes, oh God, it was you. I didn't even look at the name. I'm so sorry. I wouldn't even say anything. I just called you to Cindy, hey, But that's because they know me. Know your people. Get out there and network. Get to know those other agents. Because I promise you, when Lori and I are doing a deal, we're already on a good foot. Because I already know Lori. We already know we can work, right? Already know that's how it's going to be. This one up here, Ozzy, well, we're going to have to snatch him ball head, this little child. I love him to death. He's just my everything. And you guys are all in a great place. If any of you all that were not listening to that call he made, that's why I was just like, when you get to hear him on his game, it's just like, man, he just don't quit. He just comes back another way and another way. But it's not pushy. It's informational and it's resourceful and it's helpful. And he backs off when he needs to. It's just, he's a jam. Sorry. Anyways, you want to find these people that you could partner with and form bonds with, right? So that this is going to help your career too. It's a win-win for everybody. You do have to be very clear from your client what you can share, right? I found something out the other day that I actually argued with an agent class. I found out I was wrong and had to go back and tell her. Didn't think you could do this as a listing agent because every broker I have that's still alive, I told after I found out I was wrong to find out why I thought I was wrong. And it was because they had told me to do it a different way. But if you're the listing agent, and let's say you've got a buyer and the listing agent happens to be there, she could say to you, as long as in writing from her client, I've got 2 more offers. They're both offering me full price, but this one's asking for this and this one's asking for this. If you could beat that, you could get the deal. Right? Right? I was like, oh, hell no, we can't do that. Fair market transparency, fair competition, where's all that crap? Absolutely, that is absolutely legal.
If they say it in writing.
If they put it in writing that you can do that. That's exactly right. Now, what did my brokers all tell me to do? Highest and best. Highest and best. Push it back out, highest and best. Get that liability because I could call you and tell you that. You got to go talk to your client. I might not get tired of waiting on you. I'll go ahead and tell you because you had that first offer. Let me tell you what's happened. So you might want to change your offer. You had that second offer, and I might tell you something. But play this around until I get the best offer. You see the liability and the problem with that? Oh, I see all kind of craziness. So can you do it? Yes, you can. If you're the buyer's agent and they give that to you, well, you're going to use it to your best ability to get your client. I'm not just telling you it's out there. So if they have multiple offers, now that I know this, if I was still practicing, I would certainly ask the buyer's agent if they could tell me what those other offers are, because they legally can if it's in writing from their client. You might even educate them. You can share that with me. If client gets it to you in writing, you can. I'm willing to beat them. Tell me what it is. Yeah, doesn't that feel shady? Feel shady. I just feel shady, man. Pardon?
It's factual, right? They can't just be saying.
There you go. That's the ticket. That's where I was worried about. Better be factual. And that's what Carrie Worrell said to me. Yeah, but if they use that and just say it, and then what if they do that to try to get more money out of you, and then you back away? What's that client going to say if they find out, right? So she was giving me all the liabilities with it and telling me, yes, you can, but you better worry about this, this, and this if you do, So there's no way I would do it. It would absolutely be highest and best, period, and zip my lip.
Yeah.
I don't like the liability. I want you guys. Yes, I'm sweating.
You're sweating?
You see me? I'm dripping. I left my fan. It's State Farm in Alvin. I'm going there as soon as I leave here to get my fan from where I was yesterday. Pardon?
Hey, this side of the room's like breathing, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, y'all freeze? Oh, if they're freezing, then give me a fan. I'll be good. You can make it warmer for them, and I get a fan. Thank you. I appreciate you, baby. Let's see, where was I? Lost my part. That boy. Let me tell you what he did to me when I first met him. I was with Remax One, and I had a listing, and he had a buyer. And you know how he is, right? So this is where he had me meet him. He says, "Meet me at Popeyes at Edinburgh Park in the back." Thank you. And it was like 8 o'clock, pitch black at night. I know that. I don't know what time, but pitch black at night. And I'm like going, what in the hell? All right. He sounded okay. So, I mean, he jumps out of his car, leaves his car door open, right? And talking to me, giving me his hustle about how great his client was. Why, you know, I want to work. And I'm just listening to this kid. I'm like, let me just see what kind of jam he's got, right? Because I could tell he had hustle, right? And I love that. Like I said, I love to watch that, right? So I let him do his thing. And he was just all excited. He just client did get it. But I said to him, what the hell's with the car door open? He goes, oh, you saw that? I'm like a little kid, you know, a little boy. I'm like, yeah. He goes, oh, that's my takeaway move. I said, what? He said, yeah, I use that. And I say, oh, yeah, I'm real busy, though. I got to go to another appointment. So I leave the door open. I got to just jump right out and go. I said, where are you going? He goes, I don't know where. I just use that as a tool. That's nice. I was like, boy, and I fell in love with him right then. I was like, this is my kid. I could, he was, at that point, he was 20 something, so he wasn't a kid. Now 20 years old. So, but it was, I just love him. I just love his energy. He's got that, I'll never quit. I might fail, but I'm going to dust myself off and figure out the right way to do it. He just doesn't give up. And he is gifted in this business. Trust me that. Okay, what's our clock? 12:15. I'm trying to see if that's lunch coming in. Okay, we're going to start on the next section. And then when lunch gets here, we'll break, okay? And that is lunch coming in. Look at that. That is lunch. I popped up that far. Yeah, can we do that, guys? Do you mind? Let's go ahead and take our.
I need a break.
That'd be good, because I don't, if we're going to jump in the next section, I hate to get in the middle of it. So go ahead, do your phone call, do your thing.
Are you gonna have a card that we can?
I will give you my number at the end of the day. Don't worry about it. Sure.
I try to buy a property, right? We sign the contract and everything and put the contingency, the loan. And
Don't hate the hustle.
Oh, right. Don't hate the hustle. That's exactly right. Go ahead.
so the buyer did some repairs and not because no, send it to the repairs, because the buyer is asking for it.
Right.
Okay, so then the loan he tried 3 times to get the loan, but he finally was denied the loan.
Okay.
But what happened now with the earliest one? If the seller
It's the
doesn't
seller.
want the
Seller.
sellers,
The seller.
okay.
But why are you giving up? Why don't you give something from?
We don't make it, but why is he not?
I mean, at the end of the day, if you're willing to give it, why are you going to, I'm not going to quit if I try 3 times. We have a man stand here in front of you to tell you today that he had someone that had denied 3 times and he got him approved. What's it going to hurt to run it one more time to see? And then you could close the loan and the buyer gets the house and then you don't have to worry about the other stuff. I mean, I would literally write that message and say, listen, I was in a class, I'm later here, to literally, and tell them the story. So I'm going to give this one more shot and say, let him run my buyer's profile, give him 24 hours to see what we can do. And you get on the phone with Seth today and get it done, okay?
No, I already sent him.
Oh. And Seth hasn't said it?
No, but the,
Has he run his profile?
yeah, no, the buyer wants to get in person, no.
Oh, Jesus Christ. No, your buyer needs to say, okay, I'm either giving up this earnest money and I'm willing to throw that money away, or I'm going to get off my butt and fill out the form and see if this lender can work with it. What is he going to meet with somebody for? It's boring. He just goes out online, he's done. Except you get an answer in 2 hours. He needs to do that. And then it says that, yes, absolutely, go make the appointment. So I get that. But right now, you're in a time crunch. You're about to lose your earnest money or your opportunity. This guy's got a busy schedule. You do it online, he'll get back to you, and then we'll make the appointment. I get the wanting to do that, but he's got a choice. Put or not, fill out the paperwork or lose your earnest money, it's that likely. It's working.
And we're not, but so we put a people at agent last morning for the waivers for family. Besides of the good parents, not right.
What do you mean?
They actually prepare the document to ask for the money back. And everything.
If you have in there, you're charging them fees, so like a transaction coordinator, that's what that pays for before. That would be that fee, if that's what that is.
I go to the.
If it goes to brokerage, it doesn't go to you. Anyone, you can't make
Never,
any money.
never, right?
No, whatever you make, actually, literally, and then they get it. Sometimes brokers, if it's certain fees like that, they don't charge you anything on that. I'm just put the docs together and look at the that you can make.
Like, I just sit there and I'm in silence. I didn't know that. Right.
It's not good. Thank you, Jerry. I'm so sorry.
That's my fault.
No, it's mine. I
I
just
thought
forgot
about it
where I
when we
was
were on the
going.
way. I thought about it when we were on the way.
Where am I seeing that? Do you know?
I think.
Sorry, I'll get Melissa to scan them in.
Okay.
Buddy. I'll get Melissa to scan. She's been sick all week.
Oh, yeah.
I'm good. So, damn it.
That's okay.
I have a little communicating for him. Yeah, I had to, yeah, exactly. I need to watch with the devil. I had to speak my piece on the 3 people. I got it too.
That's really.
Two points. But when you start taking advantage of it. No, but when you start taking advantage of me,
Love it.
no. No.
That is a word.
Yeah, I did. So I taking all my classes. Thank you.
Mm.
Yeah, you could pay the first side of the month. You can get on more classes the first side of the month. When you can't pay your budget on the back side of the month, don't get on my classes.
They need-
That's problem. You can work a budget, right? I can work a budget. You know how much money you pay every month. You don't.
Is that right,
So
right?
don't overcommit it.
Perfect.
Oh, God. So anyways, how's everything?
Everything's great.
Is it?
And so I'm like,
No, you need to.
16, okay.
They're gonna paint it.
Hold up.
Bathroom, kitchen, bling,
You got
bling,
it.
and
We got to do a
more.
walkthrough. We got to do a
Oh,
walkthrough.
yeah, we're fixing it. Gotta do it. Hey, I come in. Oh,
Yeah, come in. Check it out, but
Yeah.
All those, so just in the on that website, we're building all these.
I think we're gonna make that all white, it's gonna be black, big skunks on the side of the road, it's fucking nasty. Landscaping down there.
you put pipe in the front.
Yeah, look at that. Oh, Eagle Lounge, got a big old, got umbrellas all over the place, it's got 2 waterfalls, ledges everywhere, got, I'm not. I mean, really, no, for real. I will die there. I'm confident.
With the great kids. It's enough for me to interact when I want to.
Yeah.
I want to
A
separate.
nice little hallway. Y'all gonna come through 3 doors for you to think about coming
Oh,
upstairs.
yeah, okay.
And that would be locked. Yeah, but it's.
No, I love it.
And there's upstairs, it's massive. Garage is like almost 700 square feet. It's really big. So ain't gonna be nobody else. But this guy has a plan, he and I gonna fight about it. No, thank you. No, it'll be a hard no on that. You're gonna have to go, look, I ain't playing with you this time. I ain't playing with you.
Yeah.
Look, you lying before I'm done. You got to go.
Get your window throwing the rock.
It's two stores. He's gonna cut all the rock.
You're like,
You
oh,
can't
God.
stay. Make your shoes boy. Go, get out here. Oh,
This is a good time now, though.
yeah, you don't care.
Can they eat? Can they eat?
Oh, yeah. I don't said that. That's what we took a break for to eat.
We're all just sitting here waiting.
Yeah, everybody go down.
Dinner? Let's take a break to eat food. Okay, we all go eat.
Get down like James Brown.
What's your problem, old man, fussing at me?
Me?
Yeah, you're getting no
They're
hard
standing in the
time.
corner like it's an 8th grade dance, like waiting for somebody.
To get picked out, you got picked out.
I'm not going, man. I want to dance with you.
I already told enough stories about you today. Oh, yeah, exactly.
Good thing, right?
Oh, I got nothing but love for y'all. Nothing but love.
We'll find out.
Yeah, I know you will. I know you will. How you think our license?
We had different faces here today, though, right? Yeah, getting there. I'm sure.
Yeah, he's gonna help her blow the school up. Automate so much she has to do manually now, so. Yeah.
You make me nervous, I'm moving that.
I make you nervous? Why do I make you nervous? I don't mean to make you nervous, man. Sorry.
Pick out the bunch.
Oh, you think, oh, okay, now.
Oh,
I thought you meant with me, you were nervous. Oh, okay, I was like, oh, damn. Oh, yeah, that's perfect.
That I
Okay.
actually understood.
Yeah, that I got. Okay, that I got. Yeah, I was like, wow, I didn't think I was that aggressive. Whoops.
I'm like, slip over that.
Yeah. So y'all busy? Busy?
Busy right after.
I gave your name out twice yesterday. Somebody called me right before she went off to the Bahamas, Rachel. I can never say her name.
No, I got,
The moment you started, first time.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah, the lady I spoke with her, this clients that we just started with, so. And the thing is that we're getting a lot of people that are right there,
Yeah.
they just need
Yeah.
extra. Yeah, that's almost, you know what I mean?
Like Melissa was almost, and you fixed her.
Perfect example.
Yep.
Those are the ones where we could really,
Quick.
you know,
Absolutely.
versus, you know, when the person come with, like, I just got a guy $399, like, you get what I'm saying? $399, and he got all the ambition in the world, but
Bless his heart. Like, you feel bad, but
yeah,
yeah.
17. I said at least 6 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I did just buy me a car. Audi. Q3 S line. She is a beauty. Yes, yes.
Just realize after. That's all. So we can get it. I don't know. I'm a responsible person.
All right, what's our clock? We're up.
Temporary.
You never came back for it.
I forgot about it.
See, funny.
The good thing you forgot about it, because Cindy would be really hot about it.
Yeah, that's the reason I did it. I like this little thing, man.
I'm not one with a lot of battery.
Oh, this is battery too. I'm just charging it.
It's like.
I'm gonna think about what you brought.
Oh. I do. I brought it myself. Okay.
It looks good.
None of this, if any purpose, you got everybody. I cover. Yeah, I'm telling you. And I tell them, pick the ones that work for you. And then do the ones that you are doing consistently. So that when you know you're going to do, don't worry about all these others. Do the one you will do. That will work for you. And then there's some others you might want it. Is this one good? Then add this, that's go. Yeah. You're not doing something because it's out there. I mean, you know, I believe these classes and all pages. Always. Yeah.
So before we got a batter,
Oh, yeah.
Same thing.
Right.
Okay, guys, we got one more sponsor here that is going to speak with y'all. And I want to start with saying, I started at the class telling you that my daughter's buying a house. Am I right? Okay, these loan approval specialists are the reason she's buying a house. Because her scores were in the mid fives in 60 days. Their norm is an average minus 90, but I'm just giving you Melissa's example. In 60 days, they had her scores between 715 and 745. Not only is she qualified, she's buying with Seth and getting a good rate because of where she is. She's not just qualified, she's well qualified. And they did that in record time. I cannot tell you how much you need these people. For those buyers that say to you, oh, my credit, BS. Send the lease, get it with them, selling something in 90 days, right?
What kind of things do they do?
He's getting ready to tell you all those lovely things right now.
We do right now.
Stand, my brother.
We do right now. We got you.
We need to go over
For sure.
You do need a class on that, right?
For sure. So my name is Wellington Stovall. This is my partner, Carlos Barrios. We own All Purpose Financial Solutions. We have one of our representatives with us as well, Alexa Martinez. Like I said, we own All Purpose Financial Solutions, and we are not your average credit specialist. We aren't credit specialists. That's something that we specialize in. But what we are loan approval specialists. I myself am a licensed loan originator here in the state of Texas. My partner, former loan originator, former account executive. And so what that means is that we don't just understand credit. We understand underwriting guidelines too, right? So we understand how the credit impacts those underwriting guidelines and just your client's approval odds for whatever we're looking to accomplish, right? If that's FHA, VA, conventional, refi, HELOAN, DSCR, right? We understand that so many different components that go into, I would just say, the different type of loan programs and goals that your clients have. But as loan approval specialists, we understand those goals and we understand what may be stopping them from accomplishing that immediate goal, right? So to like what Cindy said, right? With her daughter, we were able to turn that credit report around in about 60 days. Our average turnaround time is 90, give or take. All depends on what we need to do for the client. But within that time frame, your client is still motivated. They still have their, I would say, money to close, right? Down payment and closing costs. But most important thing is that they stick with you, right? Because we can come up with a game plan or an action plan, as I like to call it, as to, okay, you maybe not be able to buy right now, but just like Cindy said, we extend for 60 days, we extend for 90 days. And at the end of that point, you went from a not right now to, yes, right now, we're moving forward, pre-approval, let's close. And so to answer your question, how do we make that happen? I want to ask, who in here has heard of the CFPB? Okay, so for the ones that have heard of it, can you tell me what that stands for?
So I just remember here to take your class.
Great answer. I love it.
Financial Bureau. Am I getting close?
We're getting close.
So
We're getting close.
we get a warm. We had one more with the dad hat. I seen you raise your hand. You
That's fun.
super easy. Why you ain't bail them out? But so excuse me. So yeah, the CFPB, that's the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and they govern the data furnishing companies being Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, right? So what we do with a mix of factual dispute, consumer law, and elevated dispute methods if needed, we send those disputes directly to the CFPB as well as sending those to the regular credit bureaus and the creditor. Well, sending that to the CFPB, ensures that a true investigation gets done into that account. And what that also means is once we get that account removed, it's permanently removed because of the channels we went through to dispute and, like I say, get that account deleted from the credit report. And so that plus a mix of just our knowledge and what we need to do are how we're able to meet those time frames. Now, I do want to open it up for any specific questions that you all may have.
What do you charge to do that?
$1 million. We're the most expensive in town.
So it all just depends, right? Like I can't charge a person that has 2 repossessions as the same that I charge a person that has 1 collection, right? But after we go through the credit consultation, which is free, all they have to do is pay for the credit pool. We come up with that action plan, and then after that, I'll be able to let you and your client know pricing. And we do couple discounts, and we do payment, right? So we try to make it affordable, right? We don't want the dollars and cents to be the reason why your client can't ever, purchase a home or has to stay in the situation.
I'm just curious about that. If the client needs money to pay some collectors to clear out the.
So you never pay collection. I'm gonna do a little educational moment right now.
Yes.
You never ever, and I don't ever want you to advise your client to ever pay an account that has already gone into default, which means it's already a derogatory account, right? The charge off already happened. The collection, it was already sold from the original creditor to the third party debt collection agency. Okay, and the reason we don't pay those accounts is because it does nothing for you or your client. The account will show paid, derogatory.
Yeah.
It'll show a paid, derogatory. So you did nothing. You settled an account, especially collections. Reason being is because a collection, that's a third party debt collector reporting on your client's credit, right? Well, they never had a contract with, let's say, Jefferson Capital or Midland Credit Management, right? Or Genesis. They never had a contract obligating them to pay back that collection to that creditor, right? And so whenever you go and you make those payments, I mean, they literally have no, let me say, I've seen a person pay a collection and then it still gets sold to another debt collection agency and they come back because you don't owe them. So they can all, it's like the wild, wild west when it comes to collections. But still, the same is for charge-offs, right? I never advise paying the charge-off because it really does nothing for you unless you just want to keep that relationship with the lender, right? If it's a Chase account and you like the perks and you like the things that they were doing for you, Capital One, you know, then of course we would want to go and mend that relationship, making that payment. But hey, it's a billion lenders out there. That's what I say. So let's just go to someone else. You get the question.
What if they have a pay for deletion letter? Like, that suffice, that and it came off my credit.
It works.
Yeah, or I
it-
negotiated.
It works, right? But that just depends on time frame, right? Because I don't know how long it took for them to communicate back to you that they were willing to accept the pay for deletion.
30 days.
And when was this? Recently? Wonderful, right? Now if that works for you, definitely do the pay for deletion. But I just never suggest making pay for deletion when we can delete the account and save you some money in the process. Right, you pay us one time and we get the account removed versus having to pay us and still pay the original creditor or collection agency, whoever has the account.
Would you, how much is the credit for?
The credit pool is $30. So we use My Score IQ. Is anyone familiar? Okay, so let me say, when it comes to mortgage profiles and scores, there is no way for us regular consumers to access exactly what a mortgage professional would have for your client in terms of score unless they go to the lender and actually get their credit pool. Reason being is because of the FICO metrics that are being used. Whenever you go to get a mortgage, it's the FICO 2, 5, and 8. Well, as consumers, we're mostly privy to the FICO 8 and 9 scores. Right. And so just said that to say the reason we use the My Score IQ is because it comes in as close as possible to what that lender would have for your client. And so even though it's not an apples to apples direct comparison, it still gives us all of the same accounts. The score may just be off, let's say 5 to 10 points. Right. But that we can live with because I could put a buffer in. Right. Let's say if I know we need to go 620 credit score minimum to get T-Shack down payment assistance and some closing costs down, right? Well, we would go to 640, right? So whenever the lender pulls that credit report in, we're well above that 620 mark. I know we're ready to go.
I just want to add one thing to that. If you got clients also that their credit profile just isn't optimized or isn't great, we have to build the programs as well. So we have trade lines that we can sell them. We have other things that we add to the credit profile to get them to the closing table as well. So it's not just the deletion of items. If they happen to just have one trade line and the lender's looking for 3 to 5, we're going to educate them and help them acquire those trade lines as well.
Correct.
Additional trade lines, phone or that
Whatever's going to be required. So it can be either organic or it can be authorized user. It can be purchasing a trade line. Depending, each credit profile is different, right? And it depends on what loan program we're going through. So depending on what the loan program is, we're going to construct a credit profile to meet that loan program. So that's what makes us mainly loan approval specialists. Because we're going to specialize on whatever the loan program and constructing the credit profile to meet those guidelines. You got a question? I'm sorry? Yeah.
The My Score.
My Score IQ.
IQ, it is similar to the
Tri-merge? Yeah. So it gives us all of the same information. It's just the scores are what vary a little bit.
Yes, how hard is it to remove a refund? That was pretty done.
If it's recent, it's hard.
Recent, is it high balance? And high balance would be over $1,500.
It's not impossible. Everything can be deleted. It's just saying that will be done. That'll be my fault.
For sure.
How long would this repo have to go back in order for it to be, like how difficult is it?
So the more recent account, and what I consider recent is anything within the most recent 6 months. Those, and especially let's say if it's a repo, that means it's more than likely high balance. High balance would be anything $1,500 and over. those accounts you have to be really careful with. And that's the reason he said it could take up to 6 months with those accounts, because if you're too aggressive, well, now you run the risk of litigation, right? And they can pursue the client for that debt if you're too aggressive when it just happened,
What if
right?
I mean, but they probably already sold that debt, though.
Well, the
If it's been like-
repossessions, those are charge-off accounts. Those normally don't go into the collection status, meaning they're normally not sold to the third-party debt collection agency. Those are normally like staying with the original creditor, right? So if you had DM Financial, it's gonna be with DM Financial. If you had Westlake, it's gonna be Westlake. Santander is gonna be Santander, right? Whoever the original creditor, but that's why we have to be just that much more careful, because whenever I'm disputing with the debt collection agency, well, all I have to do is say, hey, show me that I owe you this debt. Show me a contract with my name saying I owe you. Of course, in legal terms, but they can't provide that. Right now, when I go to a charge-off account or a repossession that turns into a charge-off account that's still with the original creditor, well, I can't have that same approach, because they're going to say, okay, cool, here you go. You know, so that's why we use more factual disputing and consumer law when it comes to those accounts. But with it being that recent, I can't use my super aggressive methods too early, like I said, because it could possibly do more harm than good for the company in the long run. But to my partner's point, there's no account that cannot be removed, right? I kind of like to use a stock market analogy, right? How they say it's not timing the market, it's about the time in the market. And so what I mean by that is it's not about timing when the account will be removed. If you stay persistent and you continue to dispute on the account, it will be removed, right? Some people just give up after 90 days. Creditor won, you lost. Some people stay persistent like us, right? And we get the job done. So don't want to take up too much more of your time. We definitely will come through and get everybody's contact information. So
I'll send it to them this evening.
so we can message you. And if you have any clients, we're here for you. Last thing is we do pay referrals. So definitely look to take care of whoever takes care of us.
Awesome.
So I got
See you later, guys.
Thanks for the lunch.
All right, let's rock and roll, folks. I know
Cindy.
everyone's to go home, right? It's a beautiful day out there.
Yes, yeah.
Cindy,
Once again, we can now bring out more.
They'll get your information after class, you know.
We have a list of everyone's information, so we all receive a text message.
hey, I have a question.
They're like a website shop, you get along with them.
You can go to them, or you have a window that can extend it.
Right, yeah. Have a good one, man.
Cindy,
All right, here we go. We're gonna start an inspection now. We got that contract agreed to.
Question,
Now we gotta
question.
have an inspection, right? So you wanna get an inspector? Gonna give you the leverage that you need. I hate to say that, but not every inspection report is the same. Is that right? Yeah. Is what it is. I used the inspector that I adore to do my daughter's house. And yes, we're still moving forward with it, but it was a 116-page inspection report with 80 major deficiencies. Okay. So that's why I asked for a ton, right, from the seller, and 12,000 in concessions in addition to all the repairs I asked for, right? And we came down on the price of the home. But the point is, if you're representing the buyer's agent, you really want to go to inspector, right? We don't want just the one that said, hey, oh yeah, I got that card, I saw that, I saw it. You need to know somebody that's going to do a good job, and they're going to be thorough. They're going to provide the services that you need for your client. So let's talk about, write these down. These are what I consider big issues. Roof, foundation, HVAC, electrical safety issues, non-working appliances, plumbing leaks, and these two other contractors, pool and fencing. Every one of those things could stop your transaction in its tracks. Something that's a problem with one of those could say, oops, we can't move forward with this. So you have to have a contractor in your pocket that will get paid at closing to take care of these services. Now, you do have Paul and Kathy. Kathy was here. You could say, hey, look, they're gonna come take care of it and the seller can pay them at the closing, right? So we can solve something, give them solutions to, hey, we gotta have these things fixed, right? But somebody that is just a roofer or just a pool person or whatever, you need to have them because we can't get here and get stuck. The other agent might not have them. You might have to provide them to that person, say, listen, I have somebody who'll get paid at closing. If your seller can take care of it, get out of the equity.
Does that go in the CDA somewhere?
It'll just be, it'll go to title. It wouldn't be in your CDA. It doesn't affect your money, but it'll be a title with an invoice. Because,
Okay.
yeah, because, you know, they're gonna have to have the foundation fixed. Some foundation companies will absolutely get paid at closing. There is a loan that, they're now called Open Land. It used to be ACU. And I hope they still have the same loan programs. I don't know that for sure, but it's certainly worth looking into. It's called a renovation loan that you can use it with the seller. So let's say you've got a laundry list of things and they don't have the money, they can apply for a loan, get paid at closing, blah, 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 and get it done. But those are the big things. Those are the things that are going to stop your deals. Those are the things you have got to figure out a way to resolve if these things come up, right? Less significant issues, weather stripping, hardware and cabinets, GFCIs, carpet flooring, lighting fixtures, windows, caulking, that kind of stuff. That's not, it might be really big to a single mom, right? I got 4 kids and 2 jobs and I don't have time to caulk one thing or to put it in GFCI outlet. I don't know. So sometimes, remember I mentioned earlier, we can send invoices to closing. If we've got a client that this really, all the little things she doesn't want, she needs to get a cheap house. It's going to come with little things wrong. She knows that, but she can't fix them either. So maybe we get a handyman paid at closing, right? And the buyer takes care of it afterwards. I would always prefer, if your buyer's good with it, for them to be the ones in charge of those things. Now, the big things that have to be done before closing, it is what it is. The seller's got to get it done. But I would much prefer if they're going to paint, they're going to give me money for painting. If they're going to do these repairs, I want my buyer to say, okay, yep, I'm good. You can leave now. Because the seller might not have the laser eye that my buyer does, right? And go, excuse me, that is crooked. I'm uncomfortable with that. That is not, look at where they put that in the wall. Me and my ADD and I would be freaking out over certain things like that. No, ma'am, why do you have electric out? Right, that is, why is it not here? Why is it up? You know what I mean? People can get particular. That, you don't want to have them walk and doing your walkthrough and go, wait a minute. And then you're stuck again. So those kind of things, if you could find a way to put them in the buyer's hands, get them more money in concessions and let the buyer take care of it, you're much better off. I promise you that. I put fencing in there only because when fences go down, like we had a hurricane a few years ago, it was a wannabe hurricane. It just tried to be a hurricane. It was a one. I sat outside of my patio doing the whole damn thing. It was pointless. But anyways, I mean, it knocked down a few fences. But if your client's fence went down, in most likelihood, if it just went down and they didn't have to replace it, Bob and John and a 12-pack and a pizza put that fence back up, right? And are we on the line? Probably not, right? So let's be careful with that. Yeah. You think you're laughing because you know you've dealt with those folks. I know exactly what's happening right now. That's exactly right. I've always prefer as much that can be handled by the buyer that is taste or design or function rather than strategic repair to be in their hands. Get more concessions, get the contractor paid, do whatever you can, and say, hey. And the way you sell it to the buyer is, I want you to be in charge of it because you're the one that's going to be able to say that contractor when they go home and the job's done. If we let the seller do that, then we might be in a sticky wicket. If they get it done and it's done, we're going to have to accept it, but it might not be the way you want it. I would prefer it to be exactly the way you want it. So let's just get the money and you handle it at the closing. Anybody disagree with me on that? Because if you do, speak up. This is what we do in this class. Absolutely not. Okay, we love that. One of the things I would prefer, let's say we've got those repairs that have to be done, right? Don't wait till you walk through. Stay in touch with that other agent. Find out when those repairs are done, so you can actually go right when they're done. Because if they aren't, we're not at walkthrough, getting ready to go to closing, and now we got a problem, right? So let's figure it out right when we need to. That laundry list of my daughter's repairs, I have had made that give me a date when I can expect each one of the repairs to be done. So I can, and I want a receipt so I can compare with what, so I mean, it literally, you have to be very careful, very careful.
I recommend we inspection.
Pardon me?
I recommend a re-inspection.
Kevin's my guy. Kevin's gonna want to back out, short it over with me, but, and I know he ripped the house apart. I know another inspector would have probably given me a 60-page report. There was a lot of things he put on there and he detailed it to the nth degree. He did that so I would have leverage. I'm a fan of that. That's what I want. I'm not the listing agent. She won't even speak to me anymore. It's awful. It's real. I finally said to my daughter, okay, let's do the good cop, bad cop thing. Because she knows I'm not licensed here, but we set it up for her. I know your mom's a seasoned realtor. Should we negotiate with her? She also said yes. But now she was getting contentious. She told Kevin and I was difficult and impossible and asked for far too much, and her seller should not be doing all the things he's wanting to do. But the seller's willing to do it. What the hell is she fussing about? He offered me $2,000 I didn't even ask for. So he must know. Come on, right? But she's fussing at me because he's probably fussing at her. And I get that. He's an engineer, so that they get fussy when things aren't right. But anyways, I said to my daughter, okay, good cat, back up. I've been back up. We need to communicate with them a little more. So why don't you just jump in and just be that sweet little darling? And she goes, I don't know how to do that on you. I said, put it in ChatGPT, damn it. So she seriously did. She sent it over to me and it said, dear realtor. And I'm like, you really did? She goes, Mom, there's no way I could have wrote anything that nice. And I'm like, okay. One of them is definitely like me. I'll tell you one more funny joke and we'll keep moving. I have 4 children. My first husband was brilliant man. Had patents, just the most gifted man I've ever known in my life. He's a 6-legged dude. His children were brilliant as well. My second daughter is conservation biologist. I think got that big brain, right? Just lacks a little bit on the common sense, right? We used to, in high school, we'd say, oh, she's so pretty, just like that, right? So she sent us a text message, a copy of a text message between her and her husband the other day, and I'm thinking, David's thinking, Jesus, Cindy, what in the world? But it says, hey, baby, did you realize America's celebrating 250 years this year? And she said, oh, cool, when? Shit, I was like, oh my God, help me, Jesus. Oh my God, you got to be kidding me. Yeah, that's my life, people.
Okay, December 25th.
Pardon? Yeah, right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just like, oh, poor Dave, he's probably ready to kill me. Okay, so what are some ways that the seller, listen, we're asking for the farm, right? We've got this inspection report, we've got some issues. What are some ways that the seller might come back to try to absorb some of that cost? Might possibly.
Take away some of your,
You're right, concessions or commission, am I right? Some things that you can do, let's say, because as a listing agent, never, not ever, did I let my clients list washer, dryer, refrigerator, ever. Because I could use them to negotiate with. The buyer's got to get them, especially if mine are in great shape, right? So when we get to inspection report, I'm already prepared. How about if we give you a washer, dryer, and refrigerator? That's $2,500. You don't have to go spend that out of pocket after closing, and if you use that money to fix that, right? So I'm not really giving anything up. I'm just going to give it anyways. And we all know if that doesn't happen, I put it on Facebook Marketplace and it's gone in 2 hours, right? So at the end of the day, just don't let the seller do that. That's just not the listing plan. But at the buyer's side, let's say when you were walking through that house and they remarked, oh my God, we got to get bunk beds for the kids like that. Oh, I love the way they've got this set up out here. So maybe we say the buyer would be really interested in Maybe if you don't do that, give us the patio furniture or that big screen TV or that, all those are negotiable items that aren't coming money out of pocket. So when you're walking those houses, you want to make some notes of what they really like, because you don't knock to them at that moment, right? But you know when you get to inspection or someplace down. Am I boring you over there in the corner?
Yep.
Oh, sorry, Dad. Well, oh, you and I are definitely, we soulmates, brother. But offer something. The buyer could offer something, right? Or the buyer could offer to purchase something, right? Say, well, we really loved your section on that living room set. My buyers would really love to buy that. Would you take $2,500 for it? So if we do that, then the seller has some more money to work with. So what I'm getting at here is think about the things that are not money that might could plug some of these holes so that your clients, can solve the problems that they have, they're going to need, but maybe we don't have to lose so much money in the deal, right? Because there's stuff out there. This particular house we're going to, that's why they're going to have a massive garage sale, estate sale. Y'all want to go? They got antiques, they got all stuff. Don't you buy these patio umbrellas? Because I'm sending my best friend over there because she lives around the corner, down about half a mile. And she's going to that, I'm like, go over there, I'm gonna sell you the money. Just patio first, because they don't sell it to us at this point, but I want the umbrellas. Shay, why should I buy, so I got Kelly's just gonna go there. How much you said? That's what we're gonna do.
The address?
Yeah, 1623 Lake Bluff. And I believe they're estate sales, they call it. It's gonna be Lake Bluff, yes, in El Lago. On I think it's the July 4th weekend, because they're gonna let me walk it again on the 6th, and I understand things are gonna be gone from that point. Anyways, okay, so re-inspect before and get any warranty information. Let's say that we have to do some foundation work, right? Or maybe there was previous foundation work and it's got a transferable warranty. That your client has 30 days to get it in their name. If the seller does the work, got to get transferred to you. 30 days. If they miss that 30 days, they lose that warranty work on there. So you've got to make sure in your 2-week callback to see how they're doing. Remind them, don't forget. My own sister-in-law, when I sold her house many years later, said, she cost her $5,000 to fix the foundation because she didn't do the warranty thing. You didn't tell me that. BS. BS, BS, BS. I know that I did, but I also know that they sign a stack of papers, right? That is the last thing they're thinking about at that moment in time, to be honest with you. They're going home, they're taking notes, they're putting them in a box, they're moving. So sometimes your job is to be the reminder, but it also gives you another touch base, right? You got to call and check and see how the move went. Are they settled in? How's the house? Yada, yada. And the reminders. And that's when we ask for what?
Referral.
Amen. There we go. Good job.
Good job. Warranty transfer, doesn't it transfer stays with the house itself?
No, it goes with the person. Goes with the person. Yes. So you have got to transfer into that person's name, the new party's name. You have 30 days to do it. That's it. So make sure that gets done. Stay on top of that. Okay, so what if we got some appraisal issues? What could come up on appraisal?
Low.
Pardon, low? Yep, that's one thing. What else? Good job. Rarely does somebody say that to me in class, but you don't know how big a deal that can be. And we're going to talk about it in a minute. What's another one?
What did you say?
Square footage repairs. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Repairs. Square footage. Let's talk about that. A lot of times with a new subdivision, we've got plan number, whatever, it's 2,576 square feet, right? So when DR Horton sends it into the tax record, they're all 2,576 square feet, but they aren't. Because this had just a little piece of concrete extra here, didn't get poured the right way, the frame went out 2 inches this way. They are different. 25 square feet can make a big difference. So that can come up. So if it comes up, who's it on? Well, who has to take the hit? Seller, because they have less to sell. I can't help you with that, right? It is what it is. You don't have as much to sell. We've got to negotiate this. Now, am I going to kill the deal over 25 square feet? No. 100 square feet, we might have to talk, right? But find a way to work it out. But the true hit should be on the seller because they have less to to sell. On repairs, they are what they are. If the lender calls for them, they're there. We got to do them. But as soon as that lender calls for repairs, you better take time to just back up your transaction right now, because you're not going to close on time. It's not going to happen. The repairs have to be, we have to get, now we got repairs. Now we have to call somebody, get the bids, get them out there. They have to complete the work. You can't order a reappraisal until the work is completed. Then you call for a reappraisal. Then they come back out. You see how much time just went by there? We're not closing on time. And the sooner you let folks know we're not going to make it on time, the better off you are, because people are scheduled movers, utilities, all kind of things, right? So be upfront, be transparent. Hey guys, we're going to push, but I have a feeling based on this, let's just be realistic. That's what's going to happen. We're going to back up. So let's back it up now so everybody knows. Don't wait till, oh, well, we'll see if we can get it done. That's just going to make people frustrated and mad, because everybody's planning this transaction. So people will.
Sorry, what is the meaning of backup? Can you explain?
Pardon me?
What is the meaning of backup?
Like an amendment, more time.
Amendment?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, back up. Oh, I'm sorry. But yeah, longer, extend it, extend the
Okay.
closing. Yeah, we're gonna extend longer. Yes,
Okay,
I'm
thank
sorry. Yeah, sorry. What was the other one? Right. Oh, square footage, we covered that. Appraisals.
Low.
Low value. Okay, low value. Okay. Bleh. Okay, this is one of my own personal horror stories, damn it. When I was coming, damn, that like full volume. Look at that thing. That's tragic. That's sad. Look at that. A long time?
Years.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord Jesus. Okay. All right. Well, when I was coming back from Florida, my daughter and I were buying an Airbnb in Seguin. It had 300 feet of waterfront. It was beautiful. I mean, it had a garage apartment. It had a massive house. It was laid. It was at the end of a street, right on the water. And the Guadalupe was literally about as far as that white car, maybe across the parking lot. I could throw a stone at it, right? It was just a little estuary coming in. Great deal. And if you ever work with Airbnb properties, there's a database called AirDNA. It is basically an MLS for Airbnb. You can put in the property address, what your property, what you have on the property, you know, the amenities and so forth. And it'll give you a gauge of, this is what you should charge, this is what it's going to cost you, and the seasonal stuff and all that kind of thing. It's wonderful. So we did that. I'm going to make a fortune. So we're coming home, right? We were in Fort Lauderdale at the time. So we were trying to do this in June. And to close on time, because we wanted to capitalize on July 4th weekend. Otherwise, I'm really missing a lot of the summer, right? So we're like, okay, we got to get closed in June so we can do that. It was back when you guys had Silver Plate Real Estate, and we were, you know, we were doing desktop appraisals and shifted and play grade. So I called Seth, and I was doing all this with private money. I said, Seth, they're wanting me to do this on a desktop appraisal. It's the only way I can get closed on time. What do you suggest? Can I do it? And he said, yeah, have them look at XYZ. And if those three are coming up, you're going to be good. Okay. So I decided to go ahead and move forward with it. And we closed. I signed for $1 million property, but they wouldn't fund it. And I had it set up to structure that private money was at 70%. I had the seller covering 30%. So I'm 100% funded. And I had him giving me a 5% business loan to furnish the property after. So I went over mortgage, right? I couldn't get that 5% business loan until we got the true appraisal in. So I had to make it happen. So I called around and I found an appraiser who lived actually, as it turned out, on the other side of the Guadalupe, right over there on Turtle Lake on the other street. She said she knew it. Oh, I'll come back. No problem. So she does her thing. And the next day, my private money people called me and they said, Cindy, I think you were defrauded. I said, excuse me? Why do you say that? Your appraisal came in at $650. And I have already signed for $1 million piece of property. Yeah, I got that screw. He said, can you make it work? I'm like, I don't know, but let me see what I can do. And the reason is because the Army Corps engineers were working on the dam, which they did. And it removed that 300 feet of waterfront. They told me it would be 2 to 3 years. It ended up being 4. So I went from 300 feet of waterfront to a mud pit. And can't get to the Guadalupe unless I'm walking through mud, right? So no way in the world is it going to work, right? So I had to tell him, no, I can't make this happen. So I called the seller and I said, listen, we've got a problem. The house didn't appraise. There's this going on and, you know, this is held up. And he says, oh, I'm so sorry you didn't do your due diligence, which means that son of a bitch knew. He knew, and he knew I was going to make it an Airbnb. He knew my whole plan. He was giving me money, right? And he knew it was never going to work. Never going to work. Could I sue him? Hell yes, I lost about $50,000 on that deal. I sure the hell could have. Sure could have, but you know what? God's good. We don't talk about religion. I know that, but right now we're going to talk about karma. How about that? He had that house because he got a divorce. And his wife gave him the equity of the house as his portion. He paid her out, right? So I quickly said to him, well, I'm really sorry you didn't do your due diligence on what a second lien is. Because I'm going to let that first lien foreclose and you just lost $397,000. Have a nice day, sir. Click. So I got my come up and think jackass, he was trying to beat me. That's not come back to you, right? So that man got the house out, lost all the money. The wife got paid, made me happy. And the people that knew I was being screwed didn't put it on me. They just foreclosed and took it over. Now, the reason we're talking about an appraisal here, right? Value, right? $650. They took it back. They had an appraiser come from southwest side of San Antonio, appraised it for 1.15. And they sold it and made $500,000. So the way appraisal works is when a lender orders an appraisal, it's a third-party service. It's like an Uber or a Lyft, DoorDash, think about it that way. And it goes out to all the appraisers. Who wants it? Click, click, click. I want it. I want it. Me. Yeah, but your ass might be in Timbuktu and you broke and you just want to drive because you need the money, right? What do you know about this market? That person that didn't have a clue, right? So they overappraised it because they did not know the market. The lady that went across the street came the next day and showed me all the petitions and pleadings that this man had because it was like this. The court had consented to every one of those people on the street. They all had it. He had it all. She thought it was going to Anyways, I did not. But my point being is you can challenge an appraisal. You can challenge. The first thing you can ask is, where are they from? Yeah.
And the listing agent knew.
Slip. She said she didn't know. Do I believe her? Nope.
I had that happen.
Yeah, she said she didn't know. We didn't know. I didn't know. I'm like, how you don't know?
What?
Where do you live?
Is there nowhere in the contract
One
with
second.
that?
Go ahead.
In my situation, the sellers had just recently purchased the home 2 years before. So they should have caught the error in the square footage then.
Yeah.
But she said they didn't qualify. I really didn't believe she was from the same.
An appraiser
company.
should have gotten it. An appraiser should have caught it on that.
She
So,
was from the same real estate company that I
So you
was
just
working with
trusted
at that time.
mhm.
And I'm like, but she said she was a broker, her daughter was a broker in Chicago, and the home belonged to
You
the
don't need all that when they tell me all your credentials. I don't give a
But
shit.
then you come back and you tell me you didn't know that
Well,
square footage was wrong.
I guess your credentials
So
ain't
I
worth
think-
squat.
Yeah,
Sorry,
So-
if you broke her license, is you're not doing your homework.
but I said, I think they just lied. And I
That's-
had to give more money,
guys,
because
and
we
that's
had to
gonna
go
happen.
back and adjust the price because
So they
square footage
fudged.
wasn't there, yeah.
Right.
And so I know that they changed things, that when an appraiser goes out, they have to
They're
actually do
supposed
the
to,
measurement.
yes, they are supposed to do the
And-
measurement, so we know.
That
how
change
much
had
it
been
is.
made, when her daughter purchased the home.
So that was shady. That's just all there is to it. What was your question, sweetheart?
Is there a place legally that if they know that information, is there a place that they have to disclose that somewhere?
Disclose what part?
Just, what they knew would bring the value of the house down, like as far as the dam coming in.
Oh,
like,
yes, they should have. Yeah, absolutely. They should have disclosed.
And that goes in the.
Yes, because
disclosure?
that affects the property. That's a disclosure. They should have let me know that. You have to disclose anything you know that's happening to the property. You can't hide stuff. That's shady. Do you know how many FISBOs go to some kind of litigation? More than 50%. And it's because of disclosure. Because the buyer gets in there and they're like, why didn't you tell me about this? Oh, he didn't know he had to tell you about that. That's because you didn't have a representative. to help you. And that's why so many of them, they end up in some type of litigation because the seller didn't even know they were supposed to disclose that. So, that's what it really does. But at the end of the day, yes, that's something they should have absolutely disclosed, and he knew it. And it got it. But, go ahead.
There's like a encourage community. Is like they're having, build close to them on like 60-foot lots. So I know a lot of those people in that specific area are selling because they don't want to be
In a compound.
right. So from a disclosure standpoint, what are you doing as the agent?
Oh, no,
outside?
that's not something you have to disclose.
Okay.
Because that's not, what he had to disclose is because it was
It's
changing
material to
that,
the
yeah, I was materially changing what my use was for the property, right? That isn't changing that, there's a subdivision in the next one, you don't know about subdivision, so if that can't, you know, I mean, that is what it is. That their agent should be knowledgeable enough to let them know that that's happening, but that's not a disclosure.
Okay.
We good on that part, guys. So my point is, if it comes in, you can find out where's the appraiser from, right? You can challenge that. You can absolutely say, hold on, wait a minute. But as a listing agent, the way to overcome that from the very beginning is to have that book. Have that lit. I always had a book. Here's all the things my clients have done. Here's the receipts for them. Here's the repairs. Here's the update. Here's the comps that I use to get this value. Period. So that it's put on there for appraisal. He can have it. I'm giving it to him to show him how I can support that value because do they know that fireplace that you just installed there? Oh, that's 1,500. Oh, it was 3,000? That's stone. Maybe he didn't realize. Oh, you're going to get different values. You know what I mean? So if you could show them what that true value was, he's not there to beat you up on that number. That helps his job out. He may not give you your true value, but at least he has a number to work with instead of something he's just pulling out of his head on an average. Does that make sense? Okay. Survey. What can happen on a survey? Okay. One.
Additional, that's not on the original.
Pardon?
Additional structure,
Yep. Right.
missing structure.
How about a fencing? So we just talked about fencing, right? That can easily come up. I need to say this to you, and I know there are transactions when the money's so tight, we're doing everything we can just to get the buyer in the house, right? I understand that. So there's sometimes that we just take that appraisal like it is. But know this, the rule has changed that if something comes up in the transaction later and the buyer did not get a survey and it's something they would have learned if they got a survey, they don't have the option to get out of the contract anymore. They're stuck in that deal. So please just try to get those new surveys. It's very important. Encroachment. Yep. In the heights, with so much, there are meets and bounds that were done 100 years ago. And we've had shifting and moving and flooding and blah, 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 blah. Those little rods, iron rods, have shifted some, right? I had a class down there not too long ago, and one of the people said, "Oh my God, every time we have a problem that we have to get because you just don't know." She had a tract of 3. These 2 had been sold. She was selling this one. When the guy went out there to do the whole thing, everything had shifted so much that this guy only had room for a bike path. He had no driveway, so they had to go get an easement. Right away easement from this person so that they could actually put him a driveway so he could get a single car in there. So there are a lot of things that can come up, right? We have to negotiate. There's ways around them. There are exceptions and there are things that we can do, right? If you have list property out in the country and there's no fences between it and you see this little patch, they drove the tractor or the truck or whatever the heck, Bob's here, John's here. John's barn's back here. There's a big old tree. And the only way you can do is go around here in Bob's yard to go around his tree to get to the barn. Otherwise, he's cutting through his backyard. So that's fine. They don't give a shit. It's big old, they don't worry. But now John's going to sell his property. And this has been happening for more than 10 years. Undisputed. That land now belongs to Bob. Because he has used it and it's been no problem and it's now his. If he goes to challenge it. So the point is, if you're in that situation, and you see that, just make sure we and exactly where things sit and where is the mark, because we don't have just a sidewalk or the true fence line between it. We have to decide that and make sure we account for all of it.
One reason they go on where this surveyor found that it's old, like nothing on it is recorded. So I'm like, are you not putting shit on it on the survey that's not recorded as record? But they have a hand-drawn map from like 200 fucking years ago that they're throwing shit on the survey. So it's budding title, like we lost a buyer today.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you guys be
And-
concerned about that?
and-
Hell yes, that's got
and
liability all over
buyer
it.
decided to use that surveyor. I wish you used surveyor, that's thing. Like that makes.
Title
sense.
company was that?
It was with Patton, but it was chosen by the surveyor was chosen by the agent.
Mm.
And it was like a $2,000 survey full of shit that was not in record.
Yeah, that's
I
not
don't even
cool.
see how they're able to put. stuff
I don't,
in.
I'd be challenging that with the title company
We had
somehow.
to get a release from whoever this, that wasn't even existent in record from like 20-something years.
They do all kind of wild things in East Texas.
Well, I remember.
I'm telling you, they have subdivisions over there, they write in their HOA docs that you can't, certain people can't live there. And that's been illegal since 1944, and they've had subdivisions, they've written it way since that. Absolutely, just, yeah, just, you know, we go so far, and then the only reason you're going east is to get to Louisiana.
Just be careful of Omaha, for search it over there.
Yeah, I go fast, but when I hit Winnie, it's Winnie, please let me get to Lake Charles, please, Jesus, you know what I'm saying? Get me through here. I ran out of gas one time, and I'm bad about that. And I was, oh God, and I was right in orange, right? And I'm like,
You know the
oh,
thing on the thing that moves?
yeah.
When it gets close to the E, and you
Oh, my light comes on, honey. It says, you stupid fool, would you get the gas? I'm stuck in air here, but I screw up. And anyways, I had to coast off it and down into there, and I was like, oh my God, it was just sitting out here. Okay, any contractor information, anything that's done, please make sure you get it for your buyer, right? I don't care if it was just a plumber or a roofer or the pool guy, right? Find it out. Who are their service people? Your people might want to keep them, right? If you've got an AC service company, it's a whole lot easier to stay with this, the same one. If you've got a home warranty on there, they're gonna be real happy about this. These people have been servicing all, you're not gonna get too many rejects from a home warranty company. Keep those same people in place if you can, if the prices are reasonable, but get all the information. This is where we might have to pull in some of those small and big close things, right? Because some things sometimes happen. And we're stuck, and this is where we are, John. And I'm gonna have to deliver a hard no. The seller just cannot. They are maxed out. They're willing to fix this and this, but these big things came up. They cannot do these things. That's where we are. And it's gonna be about $2,500, and you are gonna have to take care of that closing. It's not gonna stop your loan. You're qualified. It's not gonna get in the way of that, but it is what it is. But I'm gonna line it up with, however, because what might they say? Well, we'll just back out, right? So what are you gonna do? Rent for another year? You're gonna spend $2,500 a month, $30,000 to pay somebody else's mortgage because you can't handle 2,500. Let's talk about the school makers side of that. Right? Make sure we understand each other, and then you're gonna drive home, Don. We wait here. Prices are going up. And do you think I'm gonna be able to get you that $20,000 outdoor kitchen that we selected this house specifically for because of the deal? Come on now. So you have to bring back in some of those things that we talked about here, those closes, and say, hey, we have to close them again, and we have to close them on the things that we know, hey, this is it. And sometimes it's a reality check. I hate to be the messenger of bad news, but here's where we are. And here's what we can do. If we don't do this, here's what you're really looking at, and that's an ugly picture. So let's figure out what's going to be the best way to get through it. I can't tell you how many times I've had buyers say, no, I just want to back out. I'm not y'all. Oh, forget it. I just want my money back. Forget it. I don't want this. I didn't work that damn hard to get you here to walk away at this point. You know, we're going to talk about this and work through it. That's all X, Y, Z. Yeah. Okay, good. All right, at closing. Let's say the seller didn't get all the repairs done on the home. What are we gonna do? to do that walkthrough, and it now says physically on that sheet, so we're physically walking through, and we didn't check it ahead of time, or they just got them done yesterday. So we're walking through today and they're not all done and we're not good. So now what do we do? We are literally 30 minutes from closing. What did we do? Pardon? We got to negotiate. We've got to fix it somehow. Sometimes it's, you know what, guys? That's $200. I'll give it to you to close it. Sometimes it's that. Sometimes it's on the phone with the other agent. Look, this is not done right. You and I are both going to have to come up with some money here to make this happen. Well, we're walking, right? The client didn't do what they agreed to do. What if the seller can't close because their new home's not ready? Lease back, right? Absolutely a lease back. How long is a lease back good for? 90 days, right? Same thing for a buyer occupancy early, but we don't do that. But that's 90 days. They can occupy 90 days early, but please don't do that. But if the seller's going to make the buyer out for 2 more weeks or a month because their house isn't ready, what if the buyer's apartment is leased? Now what do we do? Now we got a problem, right? Buyer doesn't have any place to go. They still want the house. Seller can't go anywhere. I'm not putting that buyer in that house ahead of time because I promise you this. Oh my gosh. You know it, baby girl. Oh, I didn't realize that cabinet drawer hit the dishwasher when I opened it. I didn't realize this was squeaky here. They're going to know everything. And now we got to renegotiate again. Not happening. No, thank you. But what you are going to do is negotiate with that seller and that listing agent, find a way to put your client up. Airbnb, they're all over the place. They got a little homestead suite thing on Bay Area Boulevard. It's about $300 a week. It's got a kitchenette in it, 2 beds. We will find a solution. And it might have to be you and that other agent. It has to come up with it. I would prefer to be that other agent, the seller, because they're the one causing the problem. That's where my money's asked first. But I might be giving up a little bit. The other thing is, where's their stuff going to go? How many times have you had them say to you, well, can I just put it in the garage so I don't have to move it twice? Doesn't that make sense? I mean, I can see where the buyer would think that, right? Or we can get you one of those month-free storages, right? You know, or a pod on the property. But at the end of the day, no. Because that means they're going to that house. I got to go get something out of the garage. I got to go get something out of the garage. I got no, and no. Not happening. Find a storage. Yes, ma'am.
On the lease back, it's only negotiate that towards the close to the closing date.
Correct.
However, I had an agent one time when I submitted the contract, she wanted to put the lease back, sign the lease back at the same time.
Well, there are times when we do that.
If you already know.
If you are, I did that already. I've done that many times when I know for a fact I want to close and get the money here, right? I want to mess up the buyer. They change it. Let's go ahead and close. I'll lease it back from you and pay rent. I can't move for 6 weeks. Let's go ahead and make our closing in 30 days and I'll lease it from you for 2 weeks. That gets my money as a listing agent. Gets it closed. We don't have hiccups. And it makes the buyer a little money. So I'm going to, now, when you charge that seller, remember, you don't charge them at their rent. It's at what your buyer's new note is. Because that's 2 different numbers, right? So we have to charge them what the buyer's going to be incurring, not what they've been paying. Sorry for you. I'm glad your payment's $800 a month. It now just went to $25. And that's what you're going to be paying on. Because that's what the note on this house is at closing. So that's non-negotiable. Yeah, it's a non-negotiable. And you just have to explain it to them. But yeah, I can see why I've done that sometimes. But most of the time, it's because there's a backup or some hiccup at the end.
She told me she always did it when she had, I guess, older clients.
Okay.
She
Okay.
doesn't
Yep.
know if they're gonna need.
Yes, sirree. And with the other thing that she doesn't know is it what she's really not telling you is if you're really going to close on time. And her seller wants to make sure you're closing on time before they move one thing out. I've heard that a million times. Yeah, but I want 3 days. I want 4 days. And generally it's an older group. And it's because it's fear is what it's fear based. They just need to know.
I feel
What
like
about-
they were gonna be there for a while. That they were moving back to Jamaica. I was like,
Well, I mean, they're all circumstances, but most of the time, when it happened. And there's a move out date and there's a holdover, and that holdover is hell. That holdover is a big ass number. Don't play with that because they don't, and I'm getting it from you. And you get paid the rent right at closing. You're not paying me 2 weeks later. That's the money the buyer will get at closing for you to be in there. And if there's a holdover fee, it's got to be paid daily. Get them for it. I mean, and that number can be ugly. So that's what gives them the oomph to get out on time, right? But I'm not going to say I don't understand that, especially with older folks. As boomers are the older folks now, but the silent generation before me, they lived through some things that were really tough economically, and they saw things go to hell in a handbasket in this country. So they want to be sure, or grandma packs up all of our little stuffs and moves it out and gets out this house, that she's not gonna have to move back in because your buyer gets messed up. You know what I'm saying? But at the end, if you're in this case, you're representing the buyer, protect. You have to leave the animals on the property. They're already there. Agree to that. You can't charge deposit. I mean, you could, but I never did. Unless you can see the animal had damaged the property. If that's that animal, then we might consider it. But typically, it's just include the animals and here's the price. Okay, buyer didn't close on their current home. So the contingency didn't happen, and they've got a contingency. Now what?
Yeah, they either pay for it or you're default.
They are. That's right. Exactly right. There are lots of loan programs out there these days, guys, that will buy your house from you and let you move it 7 years after. So if your client gets to that situation, I'm sorry for your lender, but flip the deal. Find somebody that has that program and do that. Don't lose that house for the buyer. And the other agent will understand. If they don't, shame on them. But you just look, we're going to go ahead and remove our contingency, but this is how we're going to do it. Give me a couple of days to get through this loan program to get it approved, and then we will remove our contingency. Okay, we closed. Everything's done. Everybody's happy. Everybody got their money. We all good. What is a reason to reach out to your buyers after closing? Homestead, referrals, HOA, tax exemptions. Foundation. There's my girl. Look at you. You're so cute.
Sorry. I don't have my boots on today.
Oh, look at you. Ask them how the house is, right? Is it working? Offer a copy of the survey because you kept a copy of it because you were that smart, right? And you knew they were talking about a palapa or, well, hey, don't forget, I know you got your stuff boxed up. I got a copy of your survey when you get there. When you get ready, just holler if you can't find it. This is the point where we start the relationship building. This is where I need it because you aren't going to use me again for 5 more years, right? I don't want to go down the rabbit hole and just, if you lose me in 5 years, I got to stay in communication with you. So now I have to set up some type of a program, how often and when and what and so forth. So repeat referral is the way to do this business. One and done is going to keep you up. So repeat referral. I'm a big fan of Jeff's closing experience, guys. If I had had that, I would have done it on every single closing. I was also a massive fan of sponsoring your housewarming party. Because of the housewarming party, and get your sponsors. Because Amelia will go anywhere, but you should do an open house. She'll do whatever. So get your sponsors to come. Let them, when I bring this, when I bring that, when I bring something else, right? You bring the treats, you bring the questions, you bring the cookies, you bring the drinks, I'll bring the snacks or sandwiches, whatever you're going to bring, right? But bring some stuff. But you are the topic there. You're the person. You're the reason they're having that whole party because of what you did. That is a wealth of referrals. I can't tell you how many times I would sponsor an open house and attend the open house, and I'm walking out with 2 and 3 referrals right then, right there, right? It's genius to do that. Stay involved. Then you got to get them in a time frame. Then you got to put them in your database. We've got to figure out if they're going to be your cheerleader, giving your name out all the time, or if where do they fit so you know how to reach out to them. But it's a continual communication. I had people at some points in my life who would ask me for a dentist. Right, exactly, right? But it was because that's exactly right, sister. That's exactly right. They didn't know whether I had a client that was a dentist, But I gave him so many other referral of things, they just figured, here, let me just see if she does, right? Because I have a painter, I have a house cleaner, I have this guy, I have this guy, I have this guy, right? I've got that guy. So let's see if she's got this guy. Make no sense. I love that. Ask me for anything because that meant I was your resource. And you're telling somebody to ask you, well, let me ask Cindy because she knows. My business was referral based predominantly after 5 years. I can ask referrals all. I like to give up 1% initially because I promise you that. Now I'm going to say it with I want your mother, your brother, your cousin, people at your dog park, people at your bowling team, people at your job. Here's some cards that pay referrals. How many you need? And it's my next conversation is, you need more cards? John, come on, I told you I pay referral fees. Come on now, who'd you give your name out to? Oh, well, it's Sue and John and Bob and blah, 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 blah. So he gives you 3 names. You instantly put a referral card in the mail to him right there. So he's going to call, oh my God, they all called you? No, they didn't call me. Why'd you pay me a referral fee? John, I want you to be my cheerleader. This is sales. I get it. Some people call me, some won't. Just please give my name out. That's what I appreciate. And that's how you're going to make money. Because I literally have had people call me and say, damn it, you better find some more people. We don't have gift cards to go out to eat on you this month. Right? We'll go to and they're like, oh shit, what? We only pay for half, but Cindy's only paying for half a dinner this month, you know? we better get the waiter's name while we're there, right? You know? I'm a fan. I will absolutely, if I can, my day, I could get away with a $10 Starbucks card. Y'all can't get away with that now. You can get a squat for that, right? But 25, you know, $20, something like that. Just to acknowledge it. That's
it. All Amazon.
Pardon? Amen. Amazon. That's right. Just create those relationships post closing, because right in that first 6-month period, you should be able to get a 10. For every deal you do, 3 is the number, the magic number. We want to pull 3 from that one. Let's see, that's it, all that. Oh, some things you can send them, things to increase their value, right? And this is why in early on, we asked them all the things about the family, because if the daughter's in gymnastics and the son's on the baseball team, your conversation that month might be about this really great gymnastics event that's coming up. I saw your daughter, blah, blah, blah. Things that are personal. It doesn't always need to be real estate. Keep them in your basket by being something besides just a realtor. Get on their Facebook page. Don't just like everything under the sun like you're a damn stalker. That's creepy. Right? Don't do that. But don't just like things and never comment either. Right? Make some comment, but don't comment on everything either. Make it strategic, right? Like usually going, oh God, if I put this on there, Cindy's gonna make another comment. Yeah, you know. I have a girlfriend that says, oh, every time I put something, my mom comments. It's like, whatever. Well, you know, she's your mom. I know, it makes me crazy.
So I signed up for Sherwin-Williams text messages, and they send out those referrals for those discount codes. I like to use those as
nice.
the discount code to my client.
Great. That is a lovely thought. I'm probably plagiarizing that, baby. Thank you very much. I'm putting that in the lead gen class. Guys, come on. And that's what this is about. Your sponsors, your sources, your colleagues. Find out what they're doing and use that to help you grow and help your client, right? Any other questions at all? We are DONE done. Oh, wait, don't wait till you sign out though. Hold on.
So go to Sherwin-Williams and sign up for their text messages, and they'll send you random discount codes. And I use
And then
that
you
to reach out to my client saying, hey, I just sent you a discount code into your text message or your email.
Oh,
or wherever.
there you go.
That is
And I
brilliant.
send you a nice little picture too, so you like keep the picture and put it on Facebook.
Love that. Guys, that's
You just go where? Sorry.
Sherwin-Williams.
for
So
discount
there's
code.
their website. And sign up for the text messages.
Okay, guys, this is your sign out sheet. Please, 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 please. I'm getting so tired of saying this, but it happens. It even happened again yesterday. I need your entire license name, your entire license number, and the letter designation behind it, SA or B. When Heidi puts all this in, she's going to put every one of you in, and if one of you screw up and it kicks everybody out, she's going to start all over again. I hate Realm right now. But honestly, I can go around the room and ask every one of you your social security number, and I know every one of you is going to know it. It's 9 digits. Your license number sticks from love of God. Get the damn number in your head. I had a class of 27 where 12 got it wrong. 12.
Jeez.
Right. And can you imagine how frustrating that? Because it doesn't tell us. Shit. And with 12 going wrong, it doesn't tell her which person is wrong. So she's got to sort through all of them to figure out who's wrong. Well, we got a little irritated about it, I'm telling you, because it's like, y'all are grown. Please, I mean, come on, can't you can fill out a contract. Can you do get your license number right, please?
So do I use my legal name or my?
Whatever it
alternative name?
says on your license, son. Don't play with me.
I have my legal name.
Tell you what, I know why you're in Aussie's office. You belong here, son.
I'm gonna make sure. That's my legal name, and it also has my alternative name on there.
Yes, and that's smart. Yeah, but honestly, what's really going to key in the license number to get it right? Either one of those. Any questions at all, guys?
No, you did great. Oh, your phone number.
Oh, phone number. Yeah, for those of you that do not have, and you can find me on Facebook. I will share your open houses and your listings. It's Cindy Marks, M-A-R-X. My phone number, and text me. If you are foolish enough to leave me a voicemail, you get to get in the group, and I go select all, delete. Because I don't listen to voicemails ever. Never. 28, yeah, I ain't looking at shit. Well, good for you. Don't send me one, because I'm not. 281.
And it's important to leave a voicemail.
678-7225. I'll say it again, 281-678-7225. I'm just too old. There's so many damn, I've waited long enough to where the business I sold 10 years ago went from $100,000 business loan to 200. Now I've got $350,000 out there. And 4,000 million people want to sell me Medicare. Yeah, I turned 65 in April, and I'm telling you, it was every day. 6, 8, 10 of them. 6, 8, 10 of
I'm
them.
40, and I get like 10 of them a day.
Medicare?
Yep.
As soon as I turn 48,
I'm a junior, so it's
Oh,
like that.
AARP, those people are evil.
Lifelong? Who knows?
They're evil. I promise you. You turn 50 and they 50 and
Yeah,
yeah,
so you need
there's
AARP,
something
though.
just in your mailbox.
I know. Well, I'm 49, and that's
Oh.
I got my 49th
Oh.
birthday. I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah,
I answer the phone like, this is Medicare. It's like, I'm 40, and they hang up.
yeah. Ridiculous. Crazy. Oh, yeah.
And nobody puts junior on all legal documents. No one ever puts junior. Like, I had an issue by my house because I had to go to the amendment because they only put my legal name and then put junior. I was like,
Right.
my dad's not buying this house.
Yeah, no, thank you. My husband's name is dash as well. I'll get this for him. But like, wait a minute. No, that's not my account. I mean, we even had credit things that mixed up on it.
Same here. I had to file a claim, a homeowner's insurance claim on my house. Got struck by lightning.
Right.
And I called and filed it, and they're like, oh, well, you have a claim that you have a house in 2006.
And like, no,
I
I
said, that's
don't.
funny. I was in Iraq in 2006. I didn't own a house. I didn't own a house then. That's my dad. They're like, oh, there's a junior. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of key. We're like two different bodies, right? You know? You'll go to the realestateCEacademy.com. I think it's on here. They're there at the bottom. They'll have all of our classes that are there, and we would say the instructor who's teaching what we're teaching. Mine should all be on there through. I know all of July's on there. We might even have some August on there. Lead generation, I've got that. Who do I have that with? I definitely have that next month. I don't remember where. Miguel's office in Manitoba on the 8th of July.
Anything up north?
Oh, yeah, I got a lot of shit up north. I'm all over Woodland, Cypress.
Good.
Katy. Waller. Kingwood.
I live in Hoffman, so.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah. You know, Deputy Accountant at, Chicago Island, Cypress? Okay, she, or what's, but watch my way, all right. Yeah, yeah. It definitely. I'm up north at least 3 times. I don't practice. No, hell no. I'm gonna do no. I keep an extra license like 39
Somebody asked me, sure, I'm doing it.
Doesn't say.
I just told you that last week, the more producers are safety, so. Every 2 years, all my city is free. And I just keep it out.
Pepperoni pizza. You need so much too, man. I know.
Here, the next 10 years, we got fees, so I'm gonna go.
Also, this came out of nowhere.
It sure does for $30, $40. I can do that, baby.
You're gonna be downtown tomorrow, right?
Where am I tomorrow? What day is today? Today's Wednesday. Yes, downtown tomorrow. I'm at 5.
Tomorrow.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's 5 now.
No, I saw it, but I'm like.
Yeah. I go to
Oh, no.
Thank you very much. I might go to that one.
Yeah, Dominic, Dana. In July. Pardon? Yeah, that's a great class.
Yes. So we can get some tips on you.
Yes. You almost have people go for it. In the thing over here, good? Okay.
Yeah. After we're done, you're gonna.
It's correct.
Right.
So I don't know what she. I don't want to. Had to do with it. But they're closing on the buyer, so the buying house building.
Hey, ready to
Used to be like- Dude.
Okay, I was about to say, we about to get a fight up in here. We about to fight. Jackie gonna beat you up.
You doing that? I wonder.
Yeah, I don't need
regret.
But I still like.
Really?
Oh, yeah. That's the best part.
Wow, yeah.
Are they?
Crazy shit.
I understand.
Stuff that just hurts your heart, you know?
Oh, God, yes. I still don't talk. I'm talking about it over here.
No way.